Yeah, boos at the City Ground after last Tuesday's defeat at home to Everton. And, Sean Dyche didn't come into an easy job here. Of course, took over from Ange Postecoglou, who had an absolutely torrid time after the club had already sacked Nuno Espirito Santo, who, exceeded expectations last season. But since Sean Dyche has come in, they had this initial manager bounce. They won 3 of their first 6 Premier League games. But since then, they've lost 4 of their last 5. It's dipped so quickly, Stuart Pearce. And I just wonder, you look where they are at the moment. You look at the teams that they're playing. Of course, they're playing West Ham at the London Stadium, another relegation candidate, live and exclusively on Talksport on Tuesday night. It's not looking like it's getting any easier for Nottingham Forest. And the job is absolutely huge. Dyche is obviously a very capable man in these situations, but everything around him has to be right. And at the moment, it just feels like a lot of things are going against him.
Yeah, where their big problem lies is at the front end of the team, I think. They're struggling to put the ball in the net. They've got 18 goals this season in the Premier League, equating to 18 points. And they need to find a way of getting more goals from the team, if you like, and come out on top. But it's amazing. A result here and a win at West Ham, and all of a sudden, the narrative is very, very much different.
Yeah, only Wolves have scored fewer goals than Nottingham Forest across the entire season, and that says a lot. But what must be even more frustrating is that Forest they've actually had more shots and a higher XG than even Aston Villa. They just have fewer goals, and it's just, Chris Wood being injured he's not played since mid-October. That is an absolutely huge loss. But then you look at Igor Jesus, he's only scored 1 goal.
Yeah, that's really poor, that return. But as you say, you've taken, I don't know what Chris scored last year, somewhere circa 20-odd goals, you know what I mean?
Well, he had the season of his career, didn't he?
It's 20-odd points, so it's straightforward in that respect.
It really is, isn't it? What would the expectation be then on Forest and Sean Dyche then? What can he realistically do with the fight that he's in, and he is in a fight?
I think, in all honesty, where they are at the moment, from where he's walked through the door, I would have said Premier League survival, bare minimum, finishing somewhere up. If they can get somewhere near sort of halfway, just under, they'd be happy with that. And maybe a cup run. I talked to someone from Forest today. They're away at Wrexham, I think, next Friday in the FA Cup, which is a horrible draw, really, for a Premier League club. You know what I mean? The cameras will be there probably, and people who show a lot of interest will be there. And the bottom line is, it's a tough call, but they're in Europe.
Yeah.
Survival this year, couple of transfer windows for Daichi this January and beyond, and see where it takes them from there, really. Yeah,
absolutely, see where it takes them from there. Well, the teams are coming out, heading towards that Premier League hoarding in the middle of the pitch. It doesn't get easier for Sean Dyche, does it, today? He's at the fortress of Villa Park. He's lost 6 and drawn 1 against Unai Emery, and that's actually Unai Emery's longest unbeaten run against a single manager in the Premier League. So, look, the incentive to start with a new narrative couldn't be any bigger for Nottingham Forest here at Villa Park. What a game we have, and we have that in the company of Nottingham Forest legend and the former England captain Stuart Pearce, who you just heard from there. But it's time to hand you over to Talksport's chief football commentator for this one, Sam Matchface. Over to you.
Reshmin, thank you very much. Yes, we're at Villa Park, and the fireworks and the flame throwers have been doing their business on the side of the pitch. I don't know about you, but the Christmas party season can often leave you with a lingering hangover. And both Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest were left with a bit of a headache in midweek, weren't they? Aston Villa's stellar winning run came to a shuddering halt at Arsenal, and Nottingham Forest suffered their 3rd straight defeat at the hands of a makeshift Everton team. And there are always regrets at Christmas time as well. What if I didn't have that last mince pie? What if I had said no to that late night whiskey? It all could have been different. What if Ollie Watkins had converted that early chance at the Emirates Stadium? Or Nottingham Forest had turned 70% possession, 21 shots and 42 touches in the Everton penalty area into a result. If, buts and maybes. Villa are deemed out of the title picture now. Forest is still trying to clamber away from relegation. The question, as 2025 turns into 2026, is which of this two teams can come back brighter, Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, indeed. As I say, a lot to play for both. It's interesting. Villa can go on a 10-game winning run, lose away at Arsenal, with the form team at the moment of the Premier League, and we think everything's come crashing down on Villa. The narrative is quite strange, really, for a team that I thought were outstanding in the first half at Arsenal. I really did.
They were, and they make 4 changes from the Arsenal defeat. Nottingham Forest switch out 2 from the loss at home to Everton. The referee today, by the way, Simon Hooper, and the VAR is Paul Howard. It's his 250th appearance for Aston Villa today, for Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins, who they will hope can score in a 3rd consecutive game. He scored against Chelsea and against Arsenal, but he hasn't scored here since the end of September. Aston Villa wearing claret shirt with light blue sleeves and white shorts, and the away team, Nottingham Forest, wearing white jerseys with navy blue shorts and socks today here at Villa Park. This is the first of 2 huge Premier League games sent to brighten your winter morning. Tomorrow we go to Elland Road for Leeds against Manchester United. Then it's back-to-back around the ground straight after the conclusion of this game and tomorrow's. All the football, all the time, and it's only on Talksport.
I think it'd be interesting, Sam, to see Aina back in the Forest lineup today. I think he's been a massive miss, both defensively and offensively. I really do. Just looking at his shape a little bit, he looks as though, I don't know, to the eye, maybe he's put a little bit of timber on. That might be a bit harsh. Maybe the time you spend in the gym in recovery, you're doing more sort of weight work and stuff.
Well, he has been out since the 31st of August. He got injured on international duty, a hamstring injury, which was so severe that he wasn't registered for the Premier League squad for the first half of the season. But he's back in the team today at right back. And Simon Hooper has blown his whistle, and we're underway here at Villa Park with Nottingham Forest shooting from left to right in the first 45, and Aston Villa from right to left. The Holt end away to our right, jam-packed of Villa supporters, hoping to see yet another victory here. So many of them have come over the course of the last year and a half, and they started on the back foot at Chelsea and on the front foot against Arsenal, and should have been ahead early on in that game at the Emirates. And Nottingham Forest, who created 21 shots against Everton, but only 6 of them on target, have had a bit of a problem scoring goals this season. The ball is at the heart of the Aston Villa defence, and it's with the former Manchester United defender, the Swede Victor Lindelof, who plays it into midfield. Tielemans playing deeper, usually moves further forward as the game goes on. Martson down the left-hand side receives it, plays it infield. It's missed by Buendia, and is tidied up by Milenkovic at the heart of the defence. We played just a little over 2 minutes, and it's a 0-0 between Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest.
Interesting to see the contrast here from Villa in the week at Arsenal. Arsenal pressing full court when Martinez had the ball, very aggressive on the press. Forest sitting off, but looking at their defensive line, still very high as well. And I think that's a semi-dangerous tactic from Forest, to actually let Villa come up to close to the halfway line, but still hold a high line.
Yeah, they try to hold a high line whenever they can, Aston Villa. Here is Morgan Rogers trying to weave his way past the midfield player Nico Dominguez. He works it wide out to the right wing position, looking for the bulky John McGinn, and then he closes down. It comes to Watkins inside the penalty area, and he hits the ball straight at John Victor from inside the 6-yard box. What a golden chance to put them in front. Martson continues to go down the left-hand side, gets down that left-hand side. He's shepherded out of play, but Ollie Watkins can't quite believe it. After Morgan Rogers had snaffled the ball up inside the penalty area, down the right side of the box, took advantage of a slip by Nico Williams. The ball deflected into the path of Watkins on the edge of the 6-yard box. He took a touch, whacked it goalwards, and it's a brilliant save by John Victor.
I've got to say, Forest in their own corner flag, basically 2 players had the opportunity to clear the ball. They're trying to play out right on their own byline, and to be fair, when Williams gave it away, he gave it up for a goal. He really did. And Watkins should have scored, I'd say.
He didn't, and it's still 0-0 on Talksport. Watkins wins the ball on halfway, dabs it back into the centre circle. Kamara tries to bring it down, and he, wearing gloves today, looks up, gets pulled to the ground by Anderson, gets a free kick, and Villa have possession. Tielemans immediately over the top for Rogers, who takes it down well. Milenkovic comes across. Buendia trying to get on the end of the loose ball, can't do so. And it's Hutchinson who brings it away. Stopped by Tielemans in his tracks, and it's out for a throw-in the right full-back position under cobalt blue skies above our head. There's a little breeze in the air. The flags on the Doug Ellis stand opposite us are flapping furiously. We are in the Trinity Road stand, just left of centre, halfway between the edge of the penalty area that Nottingham Forest are defending and the centre circle. And we are about 15-20 rows from the front.
I'll make a statement now on what I'm seeing in these really, really early stages, couple of minutes in. I think Forest are a little bit too subservient to Villa, not putting them under enough pressure when they've got the ball. They're just rolling it around to each other, feeling their way into the game, and Forest have nearly created a goal for Villa and basically just a little bit too standoffish, I'd say.
Well, they dominated all aspects of the game against Everton in midweek, but they emerged with absolutely nothing to show for it. They won at Liverpool with just 25% possession and sitting off and allowing Liverpool to come on to them. They similarly managed to pick up home wins against Leeds and Spurs, where they had less of the ball than their opponents. Maybe that is their tactic today.
Yeah, having less of the ball's one thing, but being aggressive in critical areas is totally another thing.
Ball sent forward down the right-hand side, looking for the run of Cash, who's getting forward. He lollops across straight through the penalty area. It goes over the bar and out for a goal kick. Be interesting to see how he performs today against his former club, Matty Cash. And back in the team after a period of suspension, after picking up 5 yellow cards. Boubacar Kamara back in the team today, and he's really important as well in that central area.
Yeah, certainly is. As I say, Cashy back as well. He's a regular in this team. His energy to get forward that we've just seen already.
Ball sent long by John Victor from the goal kick that Nottingham Forest had away to our left-hand side in the sunshine here at Villa Park on this early January morning, or it's a lunchtime now, but it still feels very early as Martson turns under pressure from Amari Hutchinson, but not much, as Stuart has been saying. There's a little bit of sitting off going on from Nottingham Forest. They're not getting close enough to their opponents, and Cash comes forwards down the right-hand side. He's got a bit of room to manoeuvre. Dinan Bakwa followed him, but not close enough, and Tielemans now picks it up just outside the penalty area. Rolled to the right and Kamara, back into Tielemans once again. Then far side is Kamara once more. They're keeping the ball to themselves here, those two. And then it goes all the way back to the halfway line, and Konsa finds Lindelof, who emerges with the ball down the left-hand side. He's been playing well as Victor Lindelof in the absence of Pau Torres, who should be coming back very shortly. He gets it again in field to Ezri Konsa, who's only missed one game so far in the Premier League this season. That was because of suspension when he was sent off against Newcastle on the opening day of the season. Buendia down the left, trying to take on Hutchinson, beats him easily. Low ball into the near post, Milenkovic away, and it's out for a throw down by the corner flag for Aston Villa. 0-0.
I'm going to make an early statement now on what I'm seeing on the run of play. This has got 3-0 Aston Villa written all over it.
Well, Stuart Pearce turning Nostradamus early in January. Let's see if it pans out that way as Anderson is brought to the ground by Kamara. Simon Hooper suggesting that was a foul on the England international. Forest haven't won here actually at Villa Park since 1994. But defensively, Aston Villa have become a little bit more loose over the last few weeks. It's one clean sheet in their last 8 league games for Aston Villa. They've started to concede goals. Milenkovic fires the ball forward, and Igor Jesus chases it down the inside right channel, but it's too heavy, that ball from the Serb, and it will run through to Emi Martinez away to our right-hand side. We played nearly 7 minutes.
Yeah. Villa once again allowed to build up right up to the halfway line, and as I say, it really is a compact Forest side.
That makes it more difficult for Villa to sort of open them up in the middle area of the field, but it means that there's a little bit more space out wide, doesn't it?
Out wide and in behind for a cultured pass in behind, you know, and I think a feature of Villa's game that we've seen in recent weeks is the ability to feed the ball through the midfield. Tielemans being a vital cog in that, finding the likes of Rodgers, who's on it now.
He sends it wide into Rodgers. Rodgers pops it into the box. Martson with an acrobatic effort which takes a deflection and runs through to the other side of the penalty area. On that left side, Bakwa tries to clear. Konsa feels he was fouled. Then there looked as if there probably was a foul over on the far side on Matt Cash, and it's a free kick to Aston Villa, 3 or 4 yards in from the touchline over on the far side in front of the Forest fans who are in the bottom of the Doug Ellis stand.
Yeah, as I was saying, the ability to thread the ball through the midfield zone by the likes of Tielemans is there. So even with a very, very compact press, which we saw against Arsenal on this ground a few weeks ago, the ability to thread the ball through the thirds was outstanding from Villa.
Well, home comforts have certainly been vital to Aston Villa. They take a short free kick here, send it down the right-hand side, find Buendia. Rogers was the one who popped that laterally up towards him. It goes back in from Tielemans to the far post. Lindelof arriving. It's away by Ola Aina. Picked up on the left edge of the area by Ian Martson, who finds Kamara. Kamara down the left into Lindelof. Lindelof now approaching the penalty area. Plays it square onto to Tielemans, who sends it wide. Bit of space here for John McGinn. Comes in on his left foot, floats across to the far post, and it's too heavy. And it will drift behind and away for a goal kick away to our left. You're listening to Aston Villa 0, Nottingham Forest 0. On Talksport with Sky Sports. Don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action like Bournemouth versus Arsenal flexibly live today. Search Now Sports.
Yeah, as you mentioned earlier, that little bit of width on the edge of Forest's press there. Not only are they compact from back to front, they're very compact from side to side, and that allowed McGinn to get on the ball, cut inside, and he would have been better off probably shooting for the far post rather than attempting a stood-up cross.
Well, we've played 10 minutes and Nottingham Forest have had absolutely zero attacking threat up until this point. Foul by Morgan Gibbs-White, quickly taken by Buendia, and then infield it goes to Tielemans, who's just on the edge of the centre circle. He plays it to Konza, who works it far side. A couple of yards in from the far touchline, Matty Cash just retreats, plays it back to halfway, and Aston Villa will get the opportunity to build again. They haven't lost at home since August the 31st, when Palace won here surprisingly. It's one defeat at home in their last 33 matches in all competitions, and it's that level of consistency that Unai Emery was talking about in his press conference yesterday when he was discussing the fallout from that Arsenal mishap away from home at the Emirates Stadium. Here's Tielemans. Infield again it goes. Forward by Konza up towards Rogers, but Milenkovic is there with a header. And drops in midfield for Anderson, but it's pinched by Tielemans. Tielemans coming forward down the right, finds McGinn. Comes back to Kamara into the area. Buendia on the turn, tries to shoot, hits the back of Watkins. There's a collision inside the box. Kamara goes down, and it goes against Kamara rather than for him. Dominguez gets the foul just inside the box. It's a Nottingham Forest free kick. We've played 11 minutes, 0-0, but it's been all Aston Villa up until this point. Yeah,
it certainly has. As I say, they were unable to feed the ball into Buendia on the edge of the box there, and he swiveled and got his effort away, but too many bodies on that occasion to cause any problems to the Forest goal.
It's fascinating to think that actually Aston Villa, if they'd been able to take that opportunity through Ollie Watkins in the first 2 minutes of the match, it would have been again a different football match. And you do wonder, with all this dominant possession, if they've created anything that's really tested John Victor, apart from that effort in the first few moments that came about because basically Morgan Rogers shut down Nico Williams and it deflected into the path of the centre forward. Here is Lindelof coming forward from the back. He strides out slowly and up towards the edge of the area. He looks a rather languid figure, doesn't he, Victor Lindelof?
I'm just looking at Villa. They've got so much easy possession around the halfway line. The fullbacks in Maatsen and Cash can afford to go and stand literally as high and as wide as they want. Knowing full well they haven't got any defensive responsibilities.
Well, here's Cash getting past Backwar and getting into an advanced area, then feeding McGinn inside the area, uses his body to shield the ball, not once but twice. Works it back out to Cash. Might be in an offside position here, but he's kept hold of the ball. He's turned it back to Boubacar Kamara. Tielemans round the corner, back to Rogers, back to Tielemans, back to Rogers inside the box. They're playing it around rather too easily here. Eventually Nico Williams gets hold of it and clears it away. But Nottingham Forest have got to turn up their intensity levels.
Yeah, they have. I think the warning signs are there without their goal being threatened too much, Sam. And as I say, Villa can just bring the ball up to the halfway line around the circle. It's a tactic by Forest, I understand that, but it would worry me a little bit playing against a team that I was allowing too much easy possession in advanced areas.
Rogers picks the ball up right side, tries to turn away from Murillo. Murillo, the Brazilian, pinches it, nudges it out for a throw-in over on the far side. And it's going to be launched in by Matt Cash from the far touchline. 13 minutes gone. You're listening to Talksport live at Villa Park on this Saturday lunchtime. We're around the grounds with Adrian for the 2 Premier League games a little bit later on. And we've also got updates from Celtic against Rangers, which kicked off at 12:30. No developments thus far in that game. They played 12 minutes. Here is Cash trying to get down the outside. Referee says no foul, despite the Polish international's protests. And Nottingham Forest will clear it upfield. That's a handball by Jesus, who tries to control it in front of Konza, and it's a free kick to Aston Villa. They quickly take it, send it over the top towards Watkins. Anderson is there to try and keep it alive. The ball goes out of play, and it's away for a goal kick on this near side to Nottingham Forest. 0-0.
I think Villa's tactic should be the fact that they can bring the ball forward, try and play it through midfield, but every now and then they've got to mix it up like they did there. Ball over the top of the Forest back line just to turn them round and keep them keen, and that will create a little bit of room to play to feet.
84% possession for Aston Villa. They've had 14 touches in the opponent's penalty area. And, that was a little bit iffy from Martinez, who came out to the edge of his penalty area. The offside flag, I think, was up against Jesus. He used the top of his shoulder there to play the ball outside of his penalty area, Emi Martinez, as Jesus came towards him. It was a little bit dicey, and he wasn't offside.
Listen, he's given offside. I personally think, he's claiming shoulder. I don't know whether it's shoulder or arm. Either way, the offside flag's gone up, and I think that might have got Martinez out of a little bit of a problem.
Well, he wasn't offside, because the replays suggest...
What's he given it?
No, he has given it, but he wasn't offside once you look at the replays. And as a result of that, if it was deemed to be a handball, it could have been a sending off. Therefore, it would have been checked by VAR. So that I'm guessing that they've checked it and decided that it was top of the shoulder that he has used. Otherwise, he would be in massive trouble, because he came out to the edge of his box and he blatantly used his shoulder or the top of his arm to play the ball outside the penalty area. And that would have been a big, big issue had it gone the other way for Emi Martinez. Here is Kamara, guides it back towards Konza. Konza moves up towards the halfway line. Yep, there's still 0 touches inside the opposition penalty area for Nottingham Forest, who have shown absolutely zip as far as an attacking threat is concerned. Here's Martson coming in from the left touchline. Almost found McGinn, but the spin of the ball took it away from the Scottish international. It bounced away to the left edge of the penalty area, and it's picked up by Dylan Bakwa. For Nottingham Forest to bring it clear. Oh, that's poor from Murillo. He's given it straight to Ollie Watkins, who's trying to chip it into Rodgers, and they've got the ball back again. And Nottingham Forest just haven't found their sea legs, have they?
No, there's no rhythm to anything they've done in possession. Out of possession, I think they've been a little bit too subservient, but in possession, they played a couple of balls over the top, but they've just been overhit, really. So it's just a case of trying to stay in the game for them at present.
Villa trying to get on the front foot, trying to win for an 11th time in a row at home. They haven't won 11 home games in a row for 36 years. And they're coming forward here with Ezri Konsa, who plays it forward to Cash. Cash down the outside of the penalty area. And now they're on the attack with John McGinn, who runs up to Nico Williams, tries to go on the outside of him, and it goes out for a corner, the first corner of the game. Well, they're making all the running, aren't they? Yeah. Aston Villa in the opening 17 minutes, but yet to really test John Victor apart from that effort from Ollie Watkins. Emi Martinez was just doing sort of like mountain climbers on the edge of the centre circle there, as the ball comes in from the corner, comes back to Martson, who shoots from distance, and from 25 yards out it flashes past the left hand upright and goes out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I'd say corner there, an alarming amount of room on the edge of the box for 2 Villa players, and it was Martson who got his effort away, just being pressed by Jesus, I think.
Well, from the goal kick, Murillo immediately engaged by Tielemans. It's sent long and out of play over on the far side, and that's been the story of the day so far from a very tepid Nottingham Forest. 0-0. Yuri Tielemans completed more passes than Nottingham Forest as a whole team in the first 15 minutes of the game. That should tell you the story of the match.
Yeah, just looking at Sean Dyche's body language, he's just got a little bit frustrated. That last goal kick that Ainya's not offered enough width to receive the ball to play out.
Here is Konza, sliding it down the right touchline, finding Matty Cash and then Kamara, and then Cash again, back towards the halfway line. Goals might be at a premium, with Forest being the second lowest scorer in the league and Villa's 8 straight league wins before the defeat at Arsenal, built on rather fine margins. 10 of their 12 wins so far this season by a single goal. I don't think we should be expecting Manchester United Bournemouth vibes. Here is Martson, back to Lindelof. He turns the ball infield and finds it to Konza, who immediately sends it long because Rodgers is on the chase here, and Murillo has collided with him and he's gone down. Rodgers, the referee has stopped the game because of the injury, and Rodgers is complaining that he was fouled as he went to challenge for the ball. It went over the top of the defence. Murillo stepped across him, ran into him, collided with him, didn't have any intention of playing the ball, and then fell on top of him.
Yeah, I think I was a little bit worried at first there, seeing Rodgers go down and stay down, but I think someone's just had his, yeah. It's difficult to tell whether he's had studs on the back of his sock that has ripped his sock, or alternatively, it's one of those fashion accessories to stop, they
cut holes in them. Yeah.
Exactly that.
No, I think that one is a tear.
Yeah, I do as well.
It's allowed Igor Jesus to come over towards this near touchline and get some instructions from Sean Dyche, who I don't think has been too happy with the opening part of the game. Amari Hutchison has just been dispossessed by Martson, and he's out of position now as Martson scampers down the left-hand side. Ball goes out of play from Gibbs-White, and then it goes into the penalty area. There was a little push in the back there by Milenkovic. He went down Rodgers. They wanted a penalty, Aston Villa. They're not going to get one. Hutchinson sends the ball forward into the path of Gibbs-White, who bends it round the back of the Aston Villa defence. And now Nico Dominguez goes on a charge. A rare foray forward for Nottingham Forest into opposition territory. He's followed across by Konza. Ball goes out of play, and it's out for a throw-in on the near touchline. Now let's have a look at this penalty shout. The ball was thrown in by Martson in towards the edge of the area. There was a push in the back, and then he sort of collided with Elliot Anderson. Immediately, Simon Hooper was on the scene and he said no penalty. Yeah,
I think what the referee's seeing is a player backing into a centre-half, and the centre-half just putting both hands up to say, yeah, you're going to tread on my foot here, and keeping him off your feet. But Rodgers would tell us a different story, I wager.
Ola Aina with a throw, and it's a long one, propelled into the box at very good distance. It hits the head of Jesus, but it's an easy catch for Emi Martinez. And the pressure from the supporters was to get it forward quickly, but Unai Emery was out on the edge of his technical area telling Emi Martinez to keep hold of that for as long as possible and just calm the situation down. The play very congested within a 20-yard period across the halfway line here as Forest push up, and so do Aston Villa. So it's very condensed in the middle of the park as the ball is played forward into McGinn, then back to Lindelof on this near touchline. He works it out to Martson, the left full-back for Aston Villa. And the Dutchman guides it back into Lindelof once again.
See, this is where I think we're looking at Martson here and Cash on the other side. And they're high and they're wide, but they've probably still got another 10 metres tolerance where they could go further up the pitch, level with Anya and Williams, and get balls that are in behind or to feet. And that would take out the Forest midfield recovery runs. Because in front of us, when Martson received it, Hutchinson can get back and get goal side. If he gets his advanced position slightly higher, it takes him out the game.
We've played a quarter of the match and it is 0-0. Villa have had the best chances, they've had all the possession, in fact they've had everything so far. Nottingham Forest have done pretty much nothing. Celtic have done the first main thing of the old firm game. They lead against Rangers by a goal to 0. We played 20 minutes and Yang has scored. And that'll be a welcome from Wilfred Nancy as Cash gets the ball into the penalty. It's a poor cross by him. Bounces up off of Anderson. Breaks to the left-hand side. Did that go out before Williams could clear it? It did. And it's going to be a corner to Aston Villa over on the far side. 0-0.
See, there was a point in case there. Cash's position was more advanced. He's almost level with Williams, who receives it. So that backward can't get back, and he's got the opportunity to get it at his feet and cross it.
Bit of context from the Scottish Premiership, by the way. Celtic will go level with Hearts should they win today, although Hearts will have a game in hand. And they are winning by a goal to 0. It's 0-0 here at Villa Park as the ball played short from the corner goes to Cash, then back to McGinn, who's across to the far post. Is a very, very deep one. and it's a lot of air underneath it, so it was easy for John Victor to catch. And actually, their set pieces haven't been very good so far.
No, they've had plenty of room to get the ball, play it to the edge of the box a little bit, but nothing's come of it. No decent cross at the end of it.
Maria trying to get forward. He's getting a little bit frustrated. There's a foul there by Cash on Dylan Bakwa, who's in for the injured Callum Hudson-Odoi today. And Nottingham Forest try to get the ball forward out to this right-hand side. Oh, it's a mistake by Martin, and Hutchison has picked it up. He's almost fallen over, but he's played a reverse pass into Gibbs White, who's inside the area, who's right-footed cross, comes back to him. He then sends it back through the 6-yard area. Didn't go out of play, did it out for a corner? It might have done, you know. And the first corner of the game for Nottingham Forest has been awarded away to our right-hand side, and that was because Martin made a mistake in the left full-back position, gave the ball away rather cheaply, and between Gibbs White and Hutchison, they somehow forced a corner.
Yeah, as I say, there's been a couple of times now where Forest have played the odd ball over the back line that you thought, oh, hang on a minute, maybe they're coming into the game slightly. And Daichi once again talking to Victor about playing out from the back. He wants Murillo and Milenkovic to drop deeper and then get Anya out on this side.
The corner taken short by Dylan Bakwa to Hutchison, and then he gives the ball away. And now a chance for a Villa counter-attack, and it's at speed because McGinn has spotted Watkins running down the right-hand side. He's received it. Rogers now playing it further on. It's picked up by Watkins back inside the area, tries to turn, plays it back to Rogers, who's got his back to goal, trying to turn away from Milenkovic, and it's cleared away. And what a real mess that was. I mean, Villa didn't make the most of it, but what on earth were Nottingham Forest doing?
Yeah, they went high, played the short corner, lost it on the edge of the box, and from that moment on, McGinn went like stink, but he just didn't have the support up with him or the cutting edge.
Well, lots of possession so far for Aston Villa, but only one real chance, and that came because of a mishap from Nottingham Forest. They haven't created very much, and they have the ball on this near touchline. Picked up by Martson. Martson back in field, it goes to Tielemans, who's 20 yards from the edge of the penalty area when he plays it back to Konza. Konza to the right side now, and Aston Villa trying to forge away past this very compact Nottingham Forest team. They haven't had enough chances for the amount of possession that they've had in the game so far. Cash with a curling cross in towards McGinn, who flicks the header on behind himself on the edge of the 6-yard box, but it's away by the bulky Murillo.
See, I would ask the question here, if we're defending deep and compact...
Here it is with Rogers over on the right-hand side, trying to get the ball into the box. It's cleared away by Bakwa. And up towards the halfway line, and Lindelof stops it from going back towards his goalkeeper, and they start to build again. A bit of pressure from Villa.
Yeah, you're asking the question, if you're Forest, if we're defending compact and deep and numbers, how can they just chip the ball into the box and it lands on McGinn's head?
Buendia into the penalty area, looking for Rogers, wants to return, doesn't get it. Murillo steps across. It comes back out only as far as Cash. There's a player down on the edge of the area in McGinn, but the referee is allowing play on. Tielemans keeps hold of the ball. He wants him to get up here. Boubacar Kamara sends it wide. Cash now gets it back centrally to Kamara. Tielemans, Kamara, that was loose. Away by Dominguez, but Kamara has foraged back and picked it up again. Here is Tielemans, back to Lindelof. Again, not moving the ball quick enough, Aston Villa, when they get possession inside Nottingham Forest half of the field. It's elevated over the top, looking for Watkins, who takes a bump off of Aina. I mean, it was literally like a brush pass, like a spy would do in the 80s. There was hardly any touch whatsoever. Why has he gone down there, Stuart Pearce?
I don't know. As I say, it's happened a few times, to be fair. I think the Villa players have gone down cheaply. Rogers on a couple of occasions.
Rogers trying to put the ball round the corner. Boubacar Kamara wins it back from Aina. Only half clear. Again, Markson picks it up just short of the halfway line. Villa not allowing Forest to get out of their own half. They're coming forward down the right now. Tielemans has sent it into the path of Cash, who's crossed into the box. It's a better one. It's a dangerous one, in fact, and there's no one there to get on the end of it, and it goes behind and wide of the right-hand upright. That was a good Aston Villa cross into the box, probably the best one that anyone's put into the area so far in the game.
Yeah, for me, maybe the key to unlocking the first goal of the game will be just keep feeding out to the wide areas, take two touch in the wide areas, out your feet and feed it in the box, and then it's a numbers game. Alongside Watkins has got to be Rogers, has got to be Buendia, and potentially the opposite wide player.
Nottingham Forest have not been free-flowing in terms of goals all season. They failed to score in 10 Premier League games so far. That would be of concern. But in all seriousness, I mean, they don't look like even threatening Emi Martinez's goal in this first half. But we've seen Aston Villa, over the course of this season, have good halves of games. They had a good half of the game against Arsenal in midweek and then wilted. They had a good second half to the game against Chelsea and won as a result of it. Can they sustain this for 90 minutes? Well, Nottingham Forest surely can't play as badly as this in the second half. We've nearly played half an hour. It's 0-0. Here is Aston Villa back in field to Kamara. Now Tielemans, who's trying to release the ball into the penalty area, looking for Cash, who made a good run in behind, and then it goes back via Anderson to his goalkeeper, John Victor, who smacks the ball upfield and away from harm's way. Jesus tussling for the ball. Somehow that's a foul.
Yeah, he's suggesting that Jesus had no eyes for the ball at all. He's just looking to run into the player. That was his thought process.
Well, you're listening to Aston Villa 0, Nottingham Forest 0 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, they're here for it. I think Sean Dyche will be absolutely delighted that it's 0-0.
It's like a sand timer. I was just thinking about the game. At the start of the game, the way the game developed, Villa would be absolutely delighted. The sands of time are dropping through. It's fine. Things are brilliant for Villa. They're dominating the game. But the more the sands tick through, the more it edges into Nottingham being happy with the way things are going.
Because it's 0-0.
Exactly that.
Tielemans into Rodgers. Rodgers trying to put it into Watkins. He gets to get it back rather than spin and shoot Watkins. And as a result, the move breaks down inside the penalty area. And again, there's a bit of frustration from the crowd because they feel as if maybe a fit and firing Ollie Watkins might have taken that turn and smashed it goalwards. Oh, that's brilliant from Dominguez, who's gone through 2 challenges to win it for Nottingham Forest and play it on the edge of the area to Hutchinson. Hutchinson on the box, gets it onto his left foot, shoots towards the far corner. It's a great save down low to his right by Emi Martinez. It had to be. Back to back, far side. Tries to get to the byline. Produces a cross blocked by Cash. Is out for a corner. And for all the good work that Aston Villa have done, that was a brilliant bit of defensive play and aggressive play from Nico Dominguez, who won the 50-50 challenge with Kamara, then won another one with Lindelof, escaped to the edge of the penalty area, fed Hutchinson, who made Emi Martinez produce a really stunning save down to his right.
Yeah, I've got to say, I was critical in the week about Sancho and his efforts to make a challenge, but you've just seen there with Dominguez, he's gone through 2 50-50 challenges and nearly created the first goal of the game for his team.
Here is the corner to be taken over on the far side. A real tepid first half an hour of the game so far. Anderson in towards the near post, punched away by Emi Martinez, comes back out to the edge of the box. The effort from Williams is blocked by McGinn, and then it goes back to Aina, who will send it forward, but that's blocked by Rodgers. Kamara, the ball spills out to Buendia, and then he's tossed it down the touchline for Rodgers to chase, and Rodgers has taken that out of the sky, then lost out to Bakwa. He's given the ball straight back to Tielemans. The referee says, come on, get on with it, and Aston Villa have got possession again. Out it goes to the right. Matt Cash. It's just absolute one-way traffic for the majority of this first half. But yet, that one little foray forward from Nottingham Forest, just a little warning to Aston Villa. Rodgers swings the ball into the penalty area looking for Tielemans. Takes it down elegantly. He's pushed in the back by Milenkovic. Goes down. He wants a penalty kick. He's not going to get it. And Simon Hooper's saying, well, you backed into Milenkovic.
See, Simon Hooper's done brilliant in this game. Players are throwing themselves on the floor, namely Villa players, I've got to say. And, yeah, a little bit of contact, but he's launched himself on the floor. But we've stopped booking players for diving now. We've just turned a blind eye to it. Fortunately, the referee has worked out that players are play acting here and not rewarding them with penalties, but somewhere down the line, if we want to outlaw it and stop them going to ground, you've got to book them.
Well, you get the feeling if Aston Villa are going to continue to threaten the Champions League places, they're going to need Ollie Watkins to start firing. He's looked a little bit as if he's struggling with confidence in this first 45 minutes. Here is Igor Jesus causing problems for Martin at the other end and forcing a corner, and all of a sudden there's just been in the last 5 minutes or so a few warnings for Aston Villa that there might be still a threat in this Nottingham Forest team after not seeing any at all for the first 25 minutes.
Yeah, you're right there. Those sands of time are just switching in Forest direction at present.
Here is the corner to be taken by Hutchinson. Are we actually going to see a corner sent into the penalty area? We had one from the far side which went right underneath Martinez's crossbar and he struggled with it. Let's see if they can do that again here. Hutchinson in towards the middle of the goal. He does mess around with it and it comes back to Morgan Gibbs-White and he puts it over the top.
Yeah, referee's just blown up there. Probably too aggressive on Martinez, who was hemmed in. I think it was Dominguez who gave him a nudge, and then Milenkovic. Referees give a foul there. I don't know whether the goalkeeper's initiating the contact or the player, but either way.
Well, there wasn't a foul there, was there? Let's be honest.
It's fair to say probably not. And
crikey,
it should have ended up in the back of the net, really, shouldn't it? A good opportunity.
Gibbs-White put it over. He came out, he tried to get towards the ball. He was the one who actually started pushing Milenkovic, and then Milenkovic just stepped back onto him, and that's why his punch was poor. But actually, from corners, he's been struggling. He struggled against Arsenal, dropped one in. He struggled against Chelsea, similarly. And he's struggled again today. And if you're Nottingham Forest, that's a recipe for success going forward. 0-0 the score. You're listening to Talksport live at the home of Aston Villa, Villa Park, on this crisp and cool January lunchtime, where the sun is out, but it's still incredibly chilly here. The ball has been played down the right-hand side of the Nottingham Forest penalty area for Morgan Rogers, the enigmatic number 10. A little flick by Boubacar Kamara doesn't reach its intended target in McGinn. It's cleared away by Anderson. And then it's sent up to Jesus, who's held it up, then turned, and then somehow given away a free kick over on the far side.
Yeah, as I say, the referee suggesting he's just got his arm up or elbow up and just caught Konza in the chops.
Well, he just sort of tried to hand him off, didn't he, and smacked him in the face by accident. I mean, okay. Now, part of the reason for Forest's lack of goals has been the absence of Chris Wood. He hasn't played since mid-October. He's had a knee injury and he had a recurrence of that. Igor Jesus has started the last 11 Premier League games now as Forest central striker. Taiwo Awoniyi's on the bench. His only Premier League start coming in the first game after Wood suffered his injury. Between them, Jesus and Awoniyi have scored just one Premier League goal from 42 shots and 1,195 minutes of football. Not a great return.
Goals are at a premium, my friend.
Well, they certainly are here. I think this game probably needs one. Here is Konza playing it forward to McGinn. There's space for Cash in behind the defence. If he'd played that early, McGinn, he decided to travel with the ball instead. Dominguez put it out. It's away for a throw down by the corner flag opposite us. Cash is going to take the throw. Already, both sets of substitutes are warming up, getting ready for maybe a half-time switch here. Cash to throw the ball in. McGinn trying to steal some yardage. It's a poor throw. Comes back off Dominguez. Did it hit him on that hand? The referee said no. Cleared away. Jesus can't hold it. And Konza's got it back again.
Clever play there by Anderson. Just read it. Rogers looking to feed the ball into his feet.
Martson has been sent out wide on the left-hand side. Backward comes across. Tries to get in front of him. Does just enough to help the ball out of play. The referee again says no foul. And it goes out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. Well.
Yeah, good level of consistency from the referee. As I say, he set his bar, and anything under that bar of tolerance, he's not giving free kicks for, and credit to him for it.
Well, it's not been the most entertaining first 37 minutes. Aston Villa will feel as if they should have done more damage with the amount of possession that they've had. And Nottingham Forest might feel they should be in front. Amari Hutchinson drawing a save from Emi Martinez. And then that effort over the top of the crossbar from Morgan Gibbs-White, when a foul had been called on Emi Martinez. But I wonder whether or not, if had the ball been put in the net, VAR would have looked at that a little bit more judiciously. But it remains 0-0. And it's a little bit sluggish from Forest in the first 25 minutes of the game. They've just upped their ante a little bit here, but Konza is coming forward and he's sent the ball into the path of Cash. It's hooked away by Williams. That's going to be out for a corner.
I'm just looking at Forest. They've just swapped Hutchinson and Bakker over each wing, and I look at Hutchinson and I'm not sure he wants to do any defensive duties at all, and he could be the weak link that unlocks something for Villa if he's not careful. On that occasion, Cash has burst off the back of him. No attempt to stay with Cash's run.
You were a little bit sceptical about him in the game against Manchester City, weren't you? And then he scored the goal. It was a brilliant goal, by the way.
Yeah, he played a lot better in the second half in that game. I've got to say, in the first half, what he done with the ball and without the ball left me wanting more, it's fair to say.
Ball sent out over on the far side. McGinn felt he was hampered by Hutchinson on that occasion. It has gone out for a throw, which is quickly tossed into McGinn, who's gone around the back of the defence. Away by Williams, the left back, who hoiks it out to the far touchline. Currently Aston Villa 0, Nottingham Forest 0. For the latest odds, you can head to Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage. Right now you can get Villa at 11 to 10 on to win the game. As the ball goes into the box, Rodgers trying to get it down. It comes through to Buendia. There's all sorts of bodies flailing around inside the penalty area. And then it's away and upfield by Nottingham Forest. Forest is 7 to 2. The draw is 2 to 1. That's all thanks to Betfair. Playing a different league this season with safe sub from Betfair, 18 plus begambler all. Ball is on halfway with Aston Villa. It's 0-0. Through the centre circle to Konza. Konza just short of the halfway line, looks up, fits to McGinn. McGinn's got Cash on the right, hugging the touchline with chalk on his boots, desperate for the ball to go out to him. Hutchinson has got a hold of him. He's the one who's been asked to keep tabs on Matt Cash when he comes forward. It does look as if he might switch off here, and has switched off, because Cash on the right-hand side and received the ball into the penalty area. It's on to McGinn, then back to Kamara, then Tielemans into Buendia, trying to keep hold of it. Cash has got it back again. Hutchinson goes across, but Cash still has the ball. Down the right side of the box, flicked by Kamara, up by Cash into the penalty area. Murillo then juggles with it and manages to clear. And again, lots of touches in and around the penalty area, lots of possession from Villa, but no end product.
And I think you don't normally get that many touches in the box, but Villa, I've lost count of the amount of touches they've actually had in Forest penalty box, but up to this moment they've created nothing. They've looked for a couple of penalties, they've gone to the ground cheaply, probably on about 6 occasions at least to my eye, but nothing's come of it at present.
36 final third entries, 30 touches in the opponent's box, 1 shot on target. Here's Kamara getting a little 1-2 on the edge of the area with Buendia. Buendia tries to nudge it away from Morgan Gibbs-White, who dives in and digs in to get the ball clear. Watkins chases with Aina and wins the ball back for Villa. Rodgers tries to get away from the Nigerian, but it's Anderson who steals possession and runs up to halfway. Dylan Bakwa plays it in behind the defence. Offside flag against Igor Jesus. And it's going to be a free kick to Aston Villa just inside their own half. We played 41 minutes of this game and it is still 0-0. Celtic lead Rangers by a 1-0 in the Scottish Premiership. And remember, we're round the grounds with Adrian at 2:30 this afternoon. Tomorrow we've got Leeds Manchester United at 12:30, and all 10 of the midweek Premier League games are live and only on Talksport, Talksport 2, the Talksport app and Talk Radio. Looking forward to it. Some big games as well. What about Tuesday night? West Ham against Nottingham Forest. Wow, that is going to be massive.
Yeah, it's certainly a big game in the bottom reaches of the division, that is for sure. And depending on results this weekend as well, it might become even more critical.
You a little bit nervous as a former Hammer about Wolverhampton Wanderers today?
Yes, is the answer to your question. I am. I think Wolves are set up. Form is improving slightly. No result would surprise me today in that game.
Big game which Adrian will keep you up to date with throughout the course of the afternoon. It is massive at the bottom of the table. That, I mean, Wolves already gone really, but they're improving as a football team under Rob Edwards, and if they were to get all 3 points, then West Ham would be in major trouble, as they would be actually if Nottingham Forest were to win here today. And after the first 25 minutes that would have seemed like a fantasy, but yeah, in the last 10 minutes or so, just seen signs that they might well still cause problems, and they ain't going to be as bad as this in the second half, that's for sure. Milenkovic forward with a big burly tackle, and it goes up over the halfway line and into Emi Martinez. His hands away to our right hand side.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you can sustain that many touches in your own box defensively by the opposition and keep a clean sheet. I'll maybe prove wrong on that, but if this continues in the second half, something you would think will have to fall to Villa in the box.
Well, it's the old Villa XG issue, isn't it? Here is Konza getting up towards the edge of the box, pushing it out towards the wide right position. Back into Konza again. It is a surprise that Villa haven't got in front, but mainly because they had one massive chance in Ollie Watkins early in the game. The rest of the chances they've had, been a bit mediocre.
Villa just switched permanently Rodgers out onto the left-hand side a little bit, maybe to offer him a little bit more room, and as we've seen many times before, he's cutting inside and opening the goal up. So,
well, Rodgers just wandered over to this left-hand side. Buendia's gone into the 10, hasn't he, for a moment? But they're always very fluid in their attacking positions behind Watkins. Here is Anderson managing to clear, shoots it upfield, and Dominguez takes them over the halfway line. He then turns, keeps possession well, and then plays it on to Hutchinson, who has been stationed out on the left-hand side. And he runs at Matty Cash, cuts infield, runs into traffic, but keeps hold of the ball. Dominguez sends it on into the path of Williams. A chance for him to cross possibly. Goes past Kamara. Does cross to the far post. It's flicked away by Martson. And it goes out of the penalty area and far enough away from danger for Aston Villa to be relieved. Buendia and Watkins help to win it back. Now Rodgers on the turn, tries to charge over halfway. He's got McGinn going through the centre, but he needs more help. He keeps hold of it well, and then he decides to do a little bit too much when he could have played the ball back to Tielemans, but there was a foul by Anderson, I think, and that free kick is going to be given in favour of Aston Villa. Morgan Gibbs-White was there, Anderson was there. Yeah, it was Anderson who pulled him back. That's going to be a free kick 12 yards outside the penalty area, just left of centre.
Yeah, marginal, but I think that right arm was just hooked around Rodgers' waist. And an opportunity now, this late stages, just to pop the ball in the box.
1 minute of added time at the end of the first half, which I'm sure Nottingham Forest will be delighted about. Can they get through to the end of the first 45 without conceding here, right at the end of this first half? Tielemans and McGinn are standing over it. Neither of them look as if they're going to put it straight in the box here. They're looking like they're setting up for a short one, although now they might have changed their mind because everyone seems to be alert. No, it is short. Short to Rodgers, who's central. Then back to Tielemans. Out wide is Martson. Chance to cross. He hangs it up to the far post. Headed away by Milenkovic. Kept alive by Konza. Back through the 6-yard box it goes, but it was overhit by Konza. And it goes right the way through and out for a throw in the right full-back position. And again, I've got to say, set pieces, bit of a waste from Villa.
Yeah, big time. As I say, two players over the ball. One of them glancing over his shoulder at the manager, saying, "What should we do here, really?" So,
and I think it was the set-piece coach, Austin McPhee, they were looking for. But he's sitting down at the moment because he's had a knee operation.
Yes, I've seen him with his leg brace on.
Here is Rodgers poking the ball through to Watkins. Watkins turning and shooting brilliantly. Edge of the area, thumping it in. That is a terrific goal. 250 appearance for Ollie Watkins in Aston Villa colours. He was guilty of a glaring miss at the Emirates, but he buries that chance. He scores for the third successive game, and Aston Villa have a deserved lead, 1-0.
Well, I don't want to take anything away from Watkins, but consistently Villa have been playing into players that have got more space than they probably should have, but I've got to say he received it fantastically well. On the half turn, he's unloaded one with so much venom, it's flown past the goalie. And just when Forest thought their work was done, they're going into half time 0-0. It's too easy. Once again, he received in an acre of space, I've got to say. And he's just got it, he's turned, he's pushed it out of his foot, and then he's hit it with pace and dip. Not in the corner really, but the goalkeeper was on his way in one direction. And listen, the pace of the ball's beat him.
Aston Villa lead by 0-0. Ollie Watkins with his goal. And it's goal number 7 of the season. He scored against Chelsea, scored against Arsenal. It feels like his dry spell is over. That was some hit. It's another goal from the edge of the penalty area for Aston Villa. There is a form book and this match is going with it. Villa imperious at home, and Forest have lost 4 of the last 5, and Forest very much looked like a team devoid of confidence in that first 45 minutes. It felt like whether or not it was when Aston Villa would score rather than if they would score, and they scored on the stroke of half-time to lead at the break by a goal to nil.
Yeah, thank you, Sam. I think Nottingham Forest would have loved to have kept this goalless. But Ollie Watkins, yet again, he scored 2 against Brighton, 2 against Chelsea, scored against Arsenal in the last game, and is now scored today against Nottingham Forest. And what a beautiful strike that was as well. It was coming, Stuart Pearce. It felt like it was coming. More half chances than actual chances for Aston Villa, but they did get the ball in the back of the net at the end. Really lovely finish, and deserved, I guess, considering their dominance.
What I would say is this: you can sit off and let the opposition have the ball. You can be compact, you can be tight, that's all well and good. But when Villa have had that many touches in your box and threaded balls through to the edge of the box to players that have got too much space, it's a waiting game, waiting for the goal. And once again, that goal probably summed it up, didn't it? It was a ball forward, players not tight enough, another ball
Nobody
forward.
on Ollie Watkins.
Exactly,
Yeah.
He's turned, he's took 2 touches before he's got his shot away on the edge of the box, and you can't do that, and it was an accident waiting to happen, really.
Yeah, and what about Nottingham Forest? We all know, and we said it before the game even started, the huge job that Sean Dyche now has to try and turn things around here. But, I mean, looking at the way that they're playing, do you see a pattern? Do you see what Nottingham Forest are trying to do against this Aston Villa side?
Well, they're looking to soak pressure up against a good Villa side. They're being, and I said it after 3 minutes, I said it, you're being too subservient to them.
Yeah.
You know, sit
Too much
off,
respect, yeah.
be organised, I get all that, but you've still got to be aggressive in what you do. And on the turnover of possession, they've had a couple of long balls over the top that you thought, oh, maybe, but in the main, no. But then again, going at half-time, the narrative's very much different, isn't it? We're saying Forest have done a job on them a little bit. There's no goals in the game. They'll be happy with that. That one goal, last kick of the half,
Yeah.
all of a sudden the dynamic of this game has totally changed.
Yeah, it really has, although it could have been different if Hutchinson's chance had gone in, and that is a threat. That is Villa showing that, actually, sorry, Nottingham Forest showing Villa, don't sit back too much because we can still hurt you, even though we haven't shown it in the last few games, but we do have talent there that can do the job.
Yeah, they've had a couple of skirmishes in this. I think the game's set up now. I said very early in the game, this looks like a 3-0 to me, and nothing's changed my mind on that.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's not how it is at half-time. Just to let you know, at half-time in Celtic Park, we're actually at half-time now. Celtic are in the lead against Rangers in the Old Firm. Let's hear from David Tanner how it panned out.
And at half-time, it's Celtic 1, Rangers 0, and Rangers manager Danny Rowell said yesterday he wanted to capitalise on the nerviness in their rivals' camp. I can tell you the opposite has been the case. Celtic have dominated the ball, and jittery Rangers cannot keep possession. Celtic should have taken the lead in the first quarter of an hour when Arne Engel's corner was headed past by an unmarked Aston trustee. Korean Yang got the goal that Celtic's play deserved in 20 minutes. He picked up the ball on the right, almost 30 yards from goal. He ran all the way to the edge of the 6-yard box unchallenged and cracked the ball high past Jack Butland. Against the run of play, Rangers had a chance to level when J.D. Gassama tried to lob Kasper Schmeichel, and the keeper's reflexes were superb. And just moments ago, Rangers had the ball in the net in stoppage time, but Mikey Moore's strike didn't count for an earlier offside. A cracking Old Firm game for Celtic. Rangers not in it, but it's still Celtic 1, Rangers 0 at half-time.
David Tanner, thank you very much indeed. Yeah, similar here at Villa Park. It is currently Aston Villa 1, Nottingham Forest 0, and the second half is up next.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Imagine a place where you can escape for a day. Get immersed in a world of rooms, inspiration and expertise. Where you can laze in luxury accommodation. And kids can feast from 95 pence. Tickets are free to everyone and include all the attractions. You've just imagined a day out at IKEA, IKEA, the wonderful everyday.
It's another day at Screwfix, and Sir Mo Farah is still getting to grips with things.
So, Mo, with Sprint Delivery, we get the order to them in as little as 20 minutes. Okay? Mo? Mo?
Done. He was on the 18th floor.
Nice work. But, you know we use delivery riders, right?
Oh, now you tell me.
Sprint it in as little as 20 minutes. Screwfix. No stopping you. Conditions and geographical restrictions apply.
Hi, just leaving work now. Sorry it's a bit loud. Basically, so I was thinking we could get Mackey's tonight. Had a Big Mac on my mind all day, and delivery fee on the app is now from 99p. So, you in? Of course you are. Love you. Bye.
Exclusively on the McDonald's app. 18 plus. Service fee and small order fee may apply. Participating restaurants. Serving times and T's and C's apply.
He's having a blinder. He's clipped the post. He's looking formidable. Then... substitution. His game might be over, but yours isn't. With Betfair's Safe Sub, your bet simply rolls onto the player coming on. Playing a different league with Betfair.
Valid on selected leagues and markets only. Applies to singles, multiples and bet builder bets on qualified player outcome selections. Does not apply to odds boosts. T's and C's and exclusions apply. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
Oh, he's really opened up the Sun newspaper there, Jim. No question, Clive. Straight in the middle and right into the free pull-out goals. Goals, yes. The ultimate football coverage with the best expert writers. In-depth tactical analysis. Unrivaled coverage from every league and all the latest football action. Think you've said it all there, Clive. Sorry, Jim. Not to worry, I was reading my copy of Goals anyway. Get your free copy of Goals every Saturday, Sunday and Monday only in the Sun.
We all fantasize about our perfect home. Sipping a morning coffee out on the terrace. Good morning, Mr. Squirrel.
Morning.
The kids building a tree, playing on the lawn.
We're playing real-life football.
But come on, this isn't real. Listen, if you're serious about making your fantasy a reality, find out what your home is worth instantly with a free online valuation estimate. Get real about moving. Get on the market. Most common time to obtain an online quote between 1st of April 2024 and 30th of June 2024 was under 3 minutes. Excludes Northern Ireland.
Incredible scenes here at the Village Hotel's Pub and Grill. Fans are taking their place in the fan zone with stadium-style seating, amazing views on huge screens, and we're underway. Lovely bit of dribbling there as she tackles the burger stack. Now they're getting down the wings. Sticky barbecue. Unbelievable. Oh, and he's hit the bar. And it's there! His favourite ice-cold beer. What a result! Catch every game live in the Pub and Grill at Village. Get in! Find out more at villagehotels.com.
Game day exclusive on Talksport with Sky Sports. Stream a massive month of sport this January on Sky Sports with a Now Month membership. 18 plus. Stream our internet. Terms apply.
Award-winning live football commentary. Game day exclusive. Talksport.
You're listening to Game Day Exclusive. I'm Reshman Chowdhury, live from Villa Park in the Premier League. It is currently Aston Villa 1, Nottingham Forest 0. Ollie Watkins with the goal there. And with all that in mind, let's get the latest from Betfair, the official betting partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage.
Odds update on Talksport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sub from Betfair. 18 plus. Gambleaware.org.
James Mackey joins us from Betfair. James, I mean, look, the odds were overwhelmingly in favour of a Villa victory before a ball was even kicked, given the league standings and recent form, apart from the Arsenal blip, of course. I'm assuming that it's still looking that way.
Yeah, even more so now, Reshman. I would have been very surprised if this game was 0-0 at the break, with Villa being very dominant in that first half, and they finally got that goal on the stroke of half-time, and they're now as short as 1-4 to take all 3 points in the second half. Forest have done a lot of defending in that opening 45 minutes and have it all to do to come back and win the game in the final 45. And they're now as big as 14-1 to win the game. For Forest to come back and get a point in this one, the draw can be backed at 4-1. But they will need to do much better in that second half. Looking at the player markets in the second half, and Ollie Watkins had that big chance after a few minutes, but finally got that opening goal with a great strike. He's now 13-5 to score 2 or more in the game. Morgan Rogers, he's been at the heart a bit for Villa, hasn't he, again? He got the assist for Watkins. He's now 7-2 to grab a goal any time in the second half to top off his day. Interestingly, Matty Cash has been really threatening from that right-hand side, putting plenty of balls into the box. He's as big as 9-1 for an assist any time, so maybe one worth looking at. For Forest, there's been very little threat going forward, hasn't there? But Amari Hutchinson created a big chance, getting Martinez to make a good save. He's 8-1 to score any time, and Safe Sub is attached to that any-time goal scorer market with subs happening in the second half. And just on the charity bet, Reshmin, well, that goal just before half-time could be huge for the charity bet builder heading into the second half, as the Watkins scoring any-time leg. Well, Watkins scoring any-time leg, that's in.
That.
We need
Aston Villa we need Villa. Win, is in, yeah.
Exactly, we need Villa to hold on in that second half, and then it's all down to Sam's nemesis, Nikola Milenkovic, to be carded to land that £611 and 83p to the Bobby Mortham. So, all to play for in the second half, but that goal's really made it interesting now.
Yeah, really has. James Mackey from Betfair, thank you so much for joining us. As always, that odds update is all thanks to Betfair. Returns accurate as of 10 minutes ago. For verification, see betfair.com. Over 18s only, conditions apply. Go to gamblerware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Betfair. Play in a different league this season with Safe Sub from Betfair. 18 plus gamblerware.org.
Now, following us at 2:30, Adrian Durham will be taking you around the grounds with all the goals as they go in the Premier League. As always, Adrian, Happy New Year to you. You're at Molineux for Wolves against West Ham. How are you doing before we talk about the game?
Yeah, real good, thank you very much. I'm still fascinated by Sean Dyche saying before this game their biggest challenge is to be more clinical. Well, you can only be clinical if you have shots on goal. Their XG's 0.06. They've got to get into the game.
They've got to do something, haven't they? I mean, you had that one chance from Omari Hutchinson, but no one is actually creating any kind of promising moves forward. It's really difficult for Sean Dyche at the moment, and it might get even more difficult, Adrian, because you look at how this game is starting to pan out. Of course, it can change in the second half, but by the way it's going, you just can't say that it will. And you're at this huge game at the bottom of the table. It's Wolves against West Ham. I mean,
absolutely
this
right.
Could absolutely impact Nottingham Forest being completely pulled into that relegation zone.
Well, if West Ham win it, then they're just a point behind Nottingham Forest, and the two of them meet in a few days as well. It becomes biggest game of the season for both. Forest are getting dragged right into it at this moment in time. However, a lot of people are saying to me here at Molineux, this is Wolves' best chance to win a game this season. I'm not totally convinced that they will, because I think player for player West Ham are better. Their fans might disagree with that, and they're in the bottom three for a reason, but it's a huge game here today. And then the other team in the bottom three, Burnley, go to Brighton this afternoon. They're the 2-3 o'clock kickoff. So bottom three are playing. Forest will be heading home, that short journey home, and if they lose this one, they're looking over their shoulders for sure.
They really are, aren't they? And I mean, look, let's talk about Wolves, because we covered the game against, I know I was at the last with when they played Arsenal, and it was 2 own goals that won it for Arsenal. And actually, what you saw with Rob Edwards coming in, he has made an impact in terms of style of play, in terms of, I suppose, just a bit of confidence amongst the team, even though it's very, very difficult for them, where they're rooted to the bottom. I know it's too little, too late, but what realistically do you think can he get from this side?
Well, they are performing better, you're right, but mainly away from home. Those performances at Arsenal that you talk about, before that at Villa, then at Liverpool and at Man United where they got a draw. Those have been better performances under Rob Edwards. The games are tighter, generally speaking, under Rob Edwards as well. So there are tiny little signs. I'm not saying they're going to stay up, but signs that they're playing better, signs that they might actually win a game, which is why some of their fans are optimistic about today. Listen, all they can hope for is that they beat Derby's record. I think that's their biggest aim. I think they know they're going down. I think they knew when they appointed Rob they were going down. So I think today is a huge one in terms of getting that first win of the season. This is a big chance for them. No winning 8 for West Ham.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you look at, Sean Dyche came into this job. It was almost an impossible job in, dire circumstances with Ange Postecoglou going. And Nuno Espirito Santo similarly came into a really difficult job. Is it unfair to pile all the pressure onto Nuno, though, in terms of West Ham?
That's his job. You're right. He hasn't had a window yet. It's only just opened, so there's not a lot he could have done. However, it is his job to make sure they don't go down. So that's on him at this moment in time. Yes, when you analyse it, if they do go down, when you analyse it, there'll be others. There'll be the recruitment, there'll be the ownership, there'll be previous managers, and you'll look at players as well. But he's not getting something out of this team the previous manager didn't get. We're yet to find that spark for West Ham under Nuno, and I thought it might have come by now.
Sometimes, though, if you're in a rut, it's hard to get, isn't it? But then you get Sean Dyche who comes in and has an initial bounce, and then it all goes to pot again. So it's not fun, is it, being in that relegation zone? Adrian, always wonderful to talk to you. Enjoy your day at Molineux. Speak to you later. Here at Villa Park, though, the players are out on the pitch. The second half is about to begin very shortly as all the technical staff take their places in the dugouts. I'm going to hand you back to our commentary team. Stuart Pearce is enjoying himself with a bit of chocolate snack, which is very nice, brought to us by our producer Sal Ahmed. And Sam Mountainbase, thank you very much for my cup of tea at half-time.
Thank you very much, Reshmin. Yes, last time Villa were this good. Picnics, which is what Stuart is currently chomping on, were pretty much in fashion, I think. 1989, 90, the last time that Villa were this good at home. It was the year the Berlin Wall came down. It was the year that the M42 opened. And I was going to ask Stuart Pearce, what was the Christmas number one during that period? But he's too busy chomping on that blimmin' picnic, so we'll have to wait. You have a think about it, Stuart. And we'll get underway with the football that's just started in the second half, with Aston Villa leading by 1-0 against the Nottingham Forest team that were pretty poor in the first 45. And unless they improve, it's going to be 4 straight defeats for Sean Dyche. No changes in personnel at half-time. I'll go through the 11s in just a second. But Aston Villa shooting towards the whole 10 in the second half in claret and blue shirts, white shorts and light blue socks. Here is Emi Buendia just picking the ball up and trying to steer it into the path of Watkins, but he had the rather colossal figure of Olarena in the way. He's picked it up and now found a way to force it through to the left wing position where Watkins is now occupied. Back to Buendia again. He's right-footed cross into the box, flashes through the 6-yard box, and actually Morgan Rogers, who'd run into a central area, didn't get the contact on it that maybe he would have hoped.
No, I wonder whether there's a slight change of tactic here for Forest, from all of a sudden from a team that dropped off and allowed Villa to come to the halfway line. They went on and done a full court press and pressed Villa. So whether that's a tactic they want to adopt in this second half, time will tell.
We'll keep an eye out on it. This is the starting 11 for Aston Villa, which is what they begin the second half with. Martinez in goal, Cash, Konza, Lindelof and Maatsen, Kamara and Tielemans. Then McGinn, Rogers and Buendia behind Watkins in attack. For Nottingham Forest, it's John Victor in goal. Ola Aina returns at right back. Milenkovic, Murillo and Williams the back four. Anderson and Dominguez in the centre of midfield, with Hutchinson, Gibbs-White and Bakwa behind Igor Jesus, who is leading the line. It remains 1-0 to Aston Villa. A goal scored by Ollie Watkins on the stroke of half-time, given a little bit too much room by Nikola Milenkovic to turn and shoot and fire above John Victor in the Nottingham Forest goal. And he has scored for the third successive game on the occasion of his 250th appearance for Aston Villa. And they lead by that goal as we go into the second half. Have you had thoughts about what was Christmas number one in 1989? Hold on. You can take your time. Here's Rogers, edge of the area, looking to feed Buendia. The ball is half cleared by Nottingham Forest, out towards the right-hand side. Bakwa tries to keep it in. I don't know exactly what he was trying to achieve by that. Takes it out of play. It's away for a throw-in over on the far side.
He's 17, stay another day.
Oh, you're far too early. Far too early. Here is Rogers over on the far side. Tielemans has got it back again.
Backstreet boy, new kids on the block.
Come on. Here is Maatsen. I thought you were taking this seriously.
That is me taking you seriously.
Boubacar Kamara out towards the far side. Into Rogers, gets the return to Maatsen. Maatsen with a cross, dug out in towards Watkins, punched away by Victor, who could have caught it. And then it comes out to Anderson on the edge of the area, and he will attempt to clear. But they're being forced back to the edge of their own penalty area again here, Nottingham Forest. And Villa have won it again over on the far side. Anderson maybe have committed a foul. They've won it back again, though. And it comes to Watkins, edge of the area. McGinn now feeding it back to Boubacar Kamara, looking for an outlet to get it to Cash, right side of the area, back into the centre, and McGinn pokes it in from 8 yards out. 2-0. It's been all Aston Villa, and this about reflects just how much that they have dominated this game. John McGinn with the finish, Cash with the flash ball right the way through the 18-yard box, and after they kept Nottingham Forest hemmed in inside their final third, they've come up with a finish that makes their dominance pay. It's 2-0 to Aston Villa, and Villa are going to extend their best home run for 36 years.
Yeah, the second half started really scrappily, but it was Villa, once again, a giveaway of possession there on the right-hand side by Forest. But it was Villa that were all over it, managed to get players in the box, good numbers in the box. Milenkovic slow to react, I've got to say. And McGinn just fired himself in front of Milenkovic and just tucked it away. And Villa started this second half like they finished the first with a goal.
Well, John McGinn has not scored since October. He came off the bench against Arsenal at half-time at the Emirates. He certainly thumped that one in from the edge of the area. He just sort of poked it at speed as it flashed through the box from Matt Cash's centre from the right side. And in front of the whole 10, he celebrates the second Aston Villa goal. They lead by 2-0. And on the balance of play so far, that probably reflects the dominance that Aston Villa have had, but also tells you that unless there is a smart change in the way that Forest approach things, this game's over.
Yeah, and that would be fair to say. As I say, it's been very disappointing from Forest's point of view. You know, on 44 minutes, they would have held on to the fact they kept a clean sheet. All of a sudden, we're probably 6 minutes of football, including the half-time.
Dominguez on the edge of the area gets the ball back after a mistake by Kamara as Forest come on a rare foray forward. It's clipped into the area again, and out comes Emi Martinez. Gobbles it up, and he will bowl it out into midfield, and it's picked up by Rodgers. 2-0 to Aston Villa live on Talksport this Saturday lunchtime. Tomorrow we've got Leeds against Manchester United for you. Igor Jesus has just pinched the ball after a bit of casual play from Yuri Tielemans in the middle of the park. He tried to volley it back to his central defender, gave it to Igor Jesus. And Nottingham Forest haven't made the most of that, and then Murillo's given it straight to Watkins, and then the ball runs loose on the edge of the area. Gibbs-White manages to nod it into the path of Bakwa over on the far side. The cross comes in, it's a poor delivery, and it's out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side, and it remains Aston Villa 2, Nottingham Forest 0. Have you heard any further thoughts about Christmas number 1 from 1989? I thought this was right up your Strasse.
No, 89's
too late for you.
Yeah, slightly too late, to be fair. Only a decade too late, but too late all the same.
Band-Aid 2.
Band-Aid 2?
Do they know it's Christmas? Yeah.
Wow, wait.
It was like basically the crap version. So, you know, they did the first version, which was all the top superstars. The second one had, like, Kylie and Jason. I love Kylie. Okay. I love Kylie and Jason, but it just wasn't right. Yeah. Here is Rodgers over on this near side, the right. Infield it goes to Kamara, over the top, into an advanced position. Produced by Stock Aitken and Waterman, if I'm rightly sort of assessing it. And that's why it wasn't as musically satisfying.
No, as I say, I'm not a big fan of Lock, Stock and Barrel's work, to be fair, I've got to say, in that 80s period.
I didn't think you would. There's a bit of an argument going on away to our right because Williams went down under pressure, claimed he was handballing because he fell on top of the ball and grabbed it with his arm. The referee didn't give him any punishment, and Rodgers, who was claiming that should have been a handball, was spoken to by the referee, and there was a bit of afterwards but nothing more than that. It remains 2-0.
I think it was that consistency one. As I say, it looked as though Williams went down to buy a free kick, let's say.
Well, you're listening to Aston Villa 2, Nottingham Forest 0 on Talksport with Sky Sports, and don't forget that with Now you can stream all the Sky Sports action flexibly, like Bournemouth versus Arsenal. Live today, search Now Sports. Igor Jesus, edge of the area, feeds it to Dominguez. Dominguez to Hutchison, left side of the box. Clip cross towards the far post, headed down by Bakwa, and he misses the target. Well, he was coming in at the far post. He was picked out by Amari Hutchinson. That's a brilliant cross into the box. And Dylan Bakwa, who cost £30 million from Strasbourg in the summer, came into the edge of the 6-yard box, headed the ball goalwards, but missed the target.
Great opportunity there. Good ball in by Hutchinson, and I just sliced it off the side of his head. I don't know whether the technique of heading is phasing out the game, Sam.
Well, he missed the header, didn't he? I think it hit him on the side of the head onto the shoulder, which is why it went well wide of goal. There's been another goal in the Old Firm game. Talksport's David Tanner.
It's Celtic 1, Rangers 1, 5 minutes into the second half. Rangers were awful in the first half. They've come out of the traps in the second half, and it was a cross from Nico Raskan who hit the byline, and there was Yusuf Chermiti to score only his third goal in his 22nd appearance to make it Celtic 1, Rangers 1.
Yeah, rare goal for Yusuf Chermiti, who they picked up from Everton in the summer. Rangers have only lost 2 of their last 11 games. And right now, they will be 3 points behind Celtic if it stays as it is. Here is Kamara up towards the halfway line. He's picked the ball up despite losing it initially. He then turns under pressure, gives it to McGinn. McGinn in the centre circle, the scorer of the second goal. And what was the celebration about by John McGinn, by the way? Sort of bent over as if he was a turtle. Did you see that?
No, I didn't actually.
Very strange. Very strange. I mean, obviously he was enjoying himself, but I don't know whether or not there was
Christmas party game or something. What do you think?
I don't know. Was it a turtle or was he doing the Hulk celebration? I'm not entirely sure. It wasn't very good either.
His goal weren't bad though.
His goal was pretty effective, and that's the main point, and that's why Aston Villa lead by 2-0. Here is Kamara sliding the ball forward into McGinn. McGinn, who comes infield and then nudges it into the centre circle. Tielemans into Buendia. Buendia tries to play it forward into Tielemans' path. Tielemans contacted by Aina after the ball has gone, but they play on because Buendia is coming forward after being set up by Rodgers. He's on the edge of the area here. He goes down right on the edge of the box. Milenkovic, he should definitely be booked for that. And he's only going to give a free kick. For God's sake, referee.
No vested interest in that statement whatsoever. How's your charity bet going, by the way?
Well, it's going fine as long as he keeps misbehaving. Milenkovic gives away a free kick on the edge of the area. There's a problem here, though, that is of more concern, I think, to Aston Villa, which is at the other end of the field, where Tielemans has gone down. Now, it was Aina with a poor challenge, actually, after the ball had gone. And he's just getting back to his feet now.
It's one of those, he's kicked the bottom of Bakra's foot, and they can be pretty sore with the levels of protection that modern-day boots have.
Right, so here's the free kick then, on the edge of the area now. They've had a bit of a good run of these free kicks, haven't they? Because Buendia and Rodgers have both scored these odd free kicks where they knuckle ball with the heel bone almost, and it goes up and over the wall and doesn't move left or right, and it leaves goalkeepers stranded. So their technique is pretty exemplary from this sort of range, and most people couldn't get it up and down from this range because it's right on the edge of the 18-yard box. Stuart, as a technician, what's your view?
Well, for me, you're literally on the edge of the box. We got about a foot to play with outside the box. I would always go goalkeeper's side. Get your Villa players in as blockers, get them to move last minute.
It's Buendia who hits it in towards the near touchline, near side, and it goes wide of the goal.
And it was exactly that technique that you mentioned just then. He's tried to knuckle ball it up and down, and
well, he did manage it. He just got it wide of the target.
Yeah, the up and down was right, but I think he's gone to the side of the wall, and if you're going to the side of the wall and you're going straight, you're going to miss the target.
And it remains 2-0 to Aston Villa, live on Talksport this lunchtime. Unai Emery unbeaten in all 7 of his Premier League meetings as a head coach against Sean Dyche. Most games against any manager without defeat. Ball goes back to John Victor on the edge of the area. He clears under pressure up and towards the midpoint of the Nottingham Forest half. It runs through to halfway and eventually collected by Victor Lindelof. Sean Dyche has only ever beaten Unai Emery once, and it wasn't in the league, it was in the League Cup actually, back in 2023. That was when Dyche was in charge of Everton. But it doesn't look as if Sean Dyche is going to get the better of Unai Emery today, that's for sure. We'll see what happens in the second half here, because we've now played nearly an hour, and we are going to get our substitutions in just a second, because we know that on the 60-minute mark is when Unai Emery likes to unload his bench to go for his finishers. Here is...
He's in full control here, isn't he, Villa, at the moment. 2-0 up, very comfortable, passing the ball around, and Forest not really getting a high press or an aggressive press on them. Or are they?
Oh, here is Morgan Gibbs-White inside the area, right side, produces a cross, headed away by Matt Cash, won by Buendia, edge of the area. Boubacar Kamara's got it now. Now Tielemans trying to force it forward. He's done that brilliantly. Look at the space for McGinn on this right-hand side if Rodgers can find him. Rodgers tries to do just that, but it's intercepted by Murillo, who turned and just got in front of the Scotsman. And the ball is cleared away towards the near touchline. Hutchison gives it away. Foul by Williams. The referee's going to give a free kick in favour of Aston Villa here. And we'll go off to the game down at the Amex Stadium, where bottom half Brighton need a victory today against Burnley. Here's Alex Crook.
They certainly do. They make 4 changes, including a first Premier League start for Greek striker Babis Kostoulas. Gruder, Ruter and Mitoma also come in. Out go Milner, Minte, De Kuyper and Welbeck. Pascal Gross among the subs after re-signing from Dortmund. 3 changes for Burnley. Florentino, Anthony and Joachim Brood Larsen start. Cullen, Edwards and Chauner make way. At the Amex, it's Brighton against Burnley.
And let's go off to the game at Molineux. Massive, massive day for Wolves and West Ham in particular, Adam Bridge.
Yeah, the most notable omission for them is that of Lucas Paquetá, who's not in the matchday squad today. That's one of 2 changes for this West Ham United side. Todibo also missing through injury. Mavropanos and Somerville come in. New signing Pablo is on the bench for them. As for Wolves, 1 change. Doherty drops out. Santiago Bueno comes in to replace him.
Thank you very much. That's Adam Bridge, who's part of our team as we take you around the grounds from 2:30. Adrian is also at Molineux, so is Mickey Gray. Here is John McGinn, the scorer of Aston Villa's second goal, using his body to turn and fire it out towards the far left. Well defended by Ola Aina, who watched the run of Markson, who was getting up on that left-hand side and almost connected with the ball. And it's forward into the path of Dylan Bakwa, who tries to get up to the halfway line. He couldn't progress any further than that, and Forest are forced all the way back to the edge of their 18-yard box. Here is Anderson, who then turns and fires it towards the right. Up by Aina towards the far touchline, and then round the corner by Bakwa, and then in behind is Morgan Gibbs-White, who raced beyond the Aston Villa defence. He's spaced up by the goalkeeper. He chips it into the far corner, and Nottingham Forest are back in the game. A breakaway goal, the high line breached, and Morgan Gibbs-White comes up with a super finish to take it beyond Emi Martinez, and Nottingham Forest are back in the game. Aston Villa 2, Nottingham Forest 1.
Well, Gibbs-White's not contributed a great deal in the game, but his movement and his run across the back line, deep run. There was an offside. The Villa back line have played the offside for Jesus, I think it was. But beyond that, come Gibbs-White, who made a really good run that wasn't tracked. And when he got in, you think he's going to pull it back across the goal. He waited for Martinez to go to ground and just deftly chipped it over him. Well, a real goal, I would say, against the run of play. Villa looking very comfortable, but 2-1 now, and just the odd goal separating the teams.
Well, that was a terrific finish from Morgan Gibbs-White. An excellent finish. 62 on the clock, and all of a sudden, Nottingham Forest are back in the game, and they have struggled for goals, especially away from home. 19th in the Premier League for goals, 19th for shot conversion, something that they were so good at last season. But that breakaway goal has just set the cat amongst the pigeons a little bit. And Aston Villa, who was so comfortable, are certainly not comfortable anymore. Who's more comfortable at Celtic Park? David Tanner.
What a turnaround in this second half. It's now Celtic 1, Rangers 2. 2 goals in 8 minutes for Rangers. 2 goals in 8 minutes for Yusuf Chermiti. It came from a Celtic throw-in. Chermiti ran down the left and smashed the ball over Kasper Schmeichel, who got a toe to it but couldn't keep it out. A disaster for Celtic. Celtic 1, Rangers in front now 2.
Back here it's 2-1 to Aston Villa, who are coming forward with Kamara. Watkins edge of the area, and then Milenkovic is fouled by Watkins. He certainly made the most of that, Milenkovic. It's going to be a free kick to Nottingham Forest on the edge of the D. Changes the complexion of the game now, because as you said, you know, when I mentioned about the substitutes and how he likes to unload from the bench here, Unai Emery, you were sort of, I think, suggesting that maybe he didn't need to do as much tinkering today because they were in so much control. Maybe he will be thinking about it now. Certainly Sean Dyche will.
Well, he certainly, it's changed the whole complexion of this game. We didn't see it coming. And
here's Aina, played in by Gibbs-White, edge of the area. Aina tries to get up towards it. Before he gets there, he unloads a shot from 25 yards. Unnecessarily, really, and it's straight down the throat of Emi Martinez. It was a bit of a waste.
Yeah, and it looks like, well, maybe Sanchez, I think, and Digne potentially for Villa.
Jadon Sancho.
Sorry.
And Luca Digne about to come on for Aston Villa. Here is Martson trying to get away down the left-hand side, pulled back by Dylan Bakwa. And if he's not going to get a yellow card for that, we've got no chance of him giving one for Milenkovic. I mean, it was definitely the breaking up of a promising attack. Oh, he has got his yellow card out now, Simon Hooper. Good lad.
Yeah, no choice there. I think, to be fair to him, I'm not sure he... Oh, yeah, he has had a kick at him.
He has. Yeah, I think that's probably a trip, don't you?
Yeah, I thought it was two players running across each other's path, actually, at first, but on reviewing it... Yeah,
that's the benefit of sitting up here, isn't it? We can do that.
Yeah. And certainly it was well worth a yellow.
Luca Digne and Jadon Sancho for Emi Buendia and Ian Martson are the two changes that Unai Emery are about to change. And subs always pivotal in Villa games. They've got 8 Premier League goals from substitutes this season. Here is McGinn sending the ball out wide towards the left, and chasing is Ollie Watkins. Milenkovic goes across, and Watkins puts him under pressure. I like the idea of that battle starting to get a little bit spicier. Here is Gibbs-White under pressure, tries a little back heel trick, referee says play on. Kamara skips past 2 challenges, feeds the ball down towards Watkins. Watkins goes past Milenkovic, comes back to Rodgers. He's shot blocked by Williams, and it goes behind and away for a corner kick over on the far side. What a chance.
It certainly was. Last gasp defending by the Forest defender there, Williams. He's gone to ground full stretch and managed just to take the deflection wide.
There was a bit of a tussle again between Milenkovic and Watkins on the edge of the area, and Watkins has gone down as a result of that.
He went down after the effect, didn't he, really? Not in due course, which was a strange one.
Milenkovic did just enough to get the ball away from Watkins, who is now back on his feet inside the penalty area as a corner comes in from the far side. Yuri Tielemans in front of the Holt end to take it. Right-footed, he'll send the ball in. It's low towards the near post, and then back from Buendia to Tielemans, whose second attempt at getting it in was not great. It's headed forward into Buendia. Back to Tielemans again down the left side of the box. A cross into the area might be useful here, but he's fed the ball across the penalty area. It's out by Bakwa, and it's out for another corner kick over on the far side. It remains 2-1 to Aston Villa with 67 on the clock, and Digne and Sancho about to come into the fray.
Yeah, good opportunity. Will Villa put it in the box now? They're they're loading up for a short one, actually, so I think probably not.
It keeps happening, though, doesn't it? Yeah, they keep wasting these set-piece opportunities. Martson has taken it from off the toes of Tielemans. It goes back out to Tielemans from Rodgers. This is a better cross towards the far post, kept alive by Lindelof, and then cleared from inside the 6-yard box by Murillo. Excellent delivery the second time from Tielemans, and Lindelof, who was coming round the back, headed it back across the face of goal. Murillo reacted brilliantly. Ball over the top from Emi Martinez. Murillo with the header away on the edge of his own penalty area as it's pummeled back by the Villa goalkeeper towards the Forest end of the field. Kamara picks it up in midfield for Aston Villa. Back from Cash all the way to his goalkeeper, and it remains 2-1 to Aston Villa here. Cash again on the right side, edge of the box. Plays it back in field to Kamara. Back to Cash once more. Cash trying to nudge it forward. Konza nudged in the back by Dominguez. And the ball goes out of play, and it's away for a throw-in on the near touchline, and we can have those substitutions now, as I mentioned. The 2 players coming off. Ian Martson for Digne and Jadon Sancho for Emi Buendia. And Buendia actually a little bit frustrated about the fact that he's been taken off. As his number went up, he tried to walk as far away as possible, as if to suggest that that might influence proceedings. And then he turned and rolled his eyes up into his skull as he realised he had to come off to be replaced by Jadon Sancho for the final 22 minutes of the game. Stuart Pearce.
Yeah, and as we've seen then, another directive seems to have gone out the window. Whatever happened to going off to at the nearest point of where you are?
Well, it depends if it's convenient or not, you know.
Both Matson and Buendia are on the far side of the pitch and walk all the way over here as slowly as you want.
Dylan Bakwa is coming off to be replaced by Savona, who has been playing at right back actually in the absence of Ola Aina. Aina has come off too. And the other change is James McAtee. So it's McAtee and Savona on for Aina. And Bakwa. Might just change the makeup of the attack for Nottingham Forest. James McAtee, who has been linked with a move away, actually, likely to be abroad. But he's not the only one on the Forest bench who's been linked with a move away. Well, I think we're doubling down on the fact that Arno Calamawendo is going to go to Eintracht Frankfurt. Ben Jacobs reporting that this morning. And that is going to happen, even though he's on the bench today. Slight surprise. Lovely ball infield from McGinn, who finds Kamara, who floats the ball delicately out to Digne over on the far side. He chests it down and thrusts it forward into Sancho, who runs at the defence. His right-footed shot takes a deflection away by Milenkovic. Drops inside the Forest half of the field, and Villa come forward again, leading by 2-1, looking for an 11th straight home win at Villa Park. Kamara, centrally is Tielemans, back to Kamara once again. Kamara plays it out wide towards McGinn, and then it's Kamara under pressure, turning the ball back into Konza, who just holds off Igor Jesus, whose physical presence tries to occupy the England man. Tielemans, centre circle. Jadon Sancho, just left of that, wearing gloves today, as we all are. Into Tielemans, who fires it forward into Rodgers, who felt he was fouled from behind by Anderson and gets the free kick. 30 yards from goal. It's quite some distance out, and the referee has just pushed it back a little bit here. And it's going to be a restart for Aston Villa inside the Nottingham Forest half of the field.
Yeah, the game just settled down since that Forest goal. The game settled a little bit. Both teams sort of feeling each other out once again, really. Villa looking for that third to see the game beyond Forest potentially, but I think the goal for Forest has given them hope.
20 minutes to go. Here is Rodgers into Tielemans. Tielemans, who's got time to shoot, instead he goes wide and sends it to Cash. Offside flag is up against Matt Cash. It's going to be a free kick in the left full-back position. Unai Emery claps his hands, turns and tries to encourage his team. And the assistant on the near side says that the free kick isn't being taken from the right place, so they'll just move it inside the penalty area to kick it clear. Aston Villa have got Crystal Palace away live on Talksport 2 on Wednesday night. It's part of our big slate of 10 Premier League fixtures that we've got for you Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday on the network. It also includes a Nottingham Forest trip to the London Stadium, West Ham United on Tuesday night, which is absolutely crucial. Even more crucial today if this result goes against Forest. Here is Watkins holding the ball up, and then guilty of just dawdling on it a little bit too long, and that caused frustration as Hutchison escapes for Nottingham Forest. His ball is poor. Luca Digne wins it, and Tielemans has it once again. And they make a run through the middle with McGinn, and he does brilliantly. The goalkeeper's gone miles away, and he's out of his goal, and McGinn has put it in from 30 yards, and he's surely sealed the points now. What on earth was John Victor doing? He came so far out of his goal to get a ball that he couldn't win. John McGinn came across and nabbed it, took it round him. He's 30 yards from goal when he saw the open net at the Holt end, and he popped it in. And Aston Villa, well, they weren't mourning the loss of their 11-game winning run for long. They picked up another one. It's 3-1.
Well, you can't get your head round what Victor's done. He's lying down now, holding his knee. I think he'll have to come off. What the hell he was doing, I do not know. But I've got to say, John McGinn, who's been outstanding today for Villa, saw him, went round him and Milenkovic and just put it into an empty net. One of the easiest goals he'll score. But Forest have given any opportunity of coming back into this game away by the goalkeeper's ridiculously aggressive position coming out. And I don't even know what he wasn't even close to getting the ball. So what he was doing, I don't know, Sam.
Well, I mean, it's horrendous goalkeeping, and I think he's pulled an ego.
Yeah, you could be right. I'm no physio, but you've certainly analysed that one correctly.
I mean, well, I don't know what he was doing. He's gone on a New Year's wander, and he's got absolutely nowhere near the ball. It's a complete head loss moment from the Brazilian goalkeeper, making his fifth start in a row after stepping in for the injured Matt Sells. Matt Sells has come back, and he's been sitting on the bench while Victor has been given the gloves. But I think there's going to be a change here. Matt Sells is going to come on. He's going to have to, I think. And whether or not it's as bad as it first appeared, I mean, he certainly hurt himself. He's done himself no favours by making that run out. I don't understand what he was doing. The thing was, Stuart, is that there was defenders in close proximity. He was just getting in everyone's way.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, when the ball was played, you look out the corner of your eye, and I was just astounded to see a goalkeeper in eye shot, to be fair, that he was just nowhere near it. And as you say, there was 2 or 3 defenders that were back dealing with it, and I think the referees just signalled to the bench that he's done, his day is done.
You're listening to Aston Villa 3, Nottingham Forest 1 on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Here for it. Book now at enterprise.co.uk. Goal at Celtic Park, David Tanner.
And the roof is caving in now on the defending champions. It's Celtic 1, Rangers 3. Mikey Moore, on loan from Tottenham, gets a cracking goal that Kasper Schmeichel could have kept out. And now the attention turns to the Celtic board as Wilfred Nancy closes in on 6 defeat in 8 games. It's Celtic 1, Rangers 3.
Well, they're definitely going to have to make a change here. And look, I do hope he's not as badly injured as he is appearing to be. I mean, he made a massive mistake, but I don't even know how he's injured himself. But he has picked up what looks like a significant injury here, because he does it to me. I mean, it's always some distance away, but he's either grimacing in so much pain that he can hardly walk, or he's crying. Yeah, one of the two.
As you say, you wouldn't know.
But he's got his head in his shirt now, walking off the pitch, hiding his face. And Matt Sells, who's still not ready, by the way, to come on, is waiting to be introduced. And we're all waiting for a goalkeeper to emerge. He's still not got his gloves on. He's still not got his shirt on properly. He's bending down behind the dugout. He was not ready at all. I mean, from the minute he went down, he should have been up and getting ready, shouldn't he?
Well, from the minute he went down, he looked as though that was his race run today, you know. And how he's not ready to go on, I don't know. This is just ridiculous, really. I mean, Victor's been down, for a couple of minutes.
And he's walked from, he's hobbled from inside his 18-yard box all the way down the touchline towards the tunnel, and still Matt Sells hasn't emerged from the dugout. Now he's standing up, and he's still taking his time. He will not be forced into action before he is ready. He's just put something up his nose, taken on an energy gel. He still hasn't got his gloves on yet. He's now standing inside the technical area. John Victor's number's gone up. Sells has run onto the pitch, and he's going on to join the fray away to our right hand side. Matt Sells does a little high five with Murillo, sticks his glove on, and now we're ready.
We thank you as always for your support at the park today. Fantastic, thank you.
I can't believe that. Above the door it says professional footballer. How long can it take you when you see someone in your specialised position going down to actually get on the pitch and be ready?
Well, Sal's telling me, our producer here, that the event timelines are that there was 4 minutes 50 seconds. Here is Gibbs White, edge of the area, unleashing a shot, saved by Martinez, comes out towards the right hand side, and McAtee takes it out for a corner. 4 minutes 50 seconds between the goal and Matt Sells coming on. Here's the corner over on the far side. McAtee's going to take it. 3-1 to Aston Villa, who look like they're extending their winning run at home. In towards the near post, headed away by Digne. Poor corner, actually. It was too close towards that near post, and actually there was so much of a lack of loft on the ball that Digne had to stoop to head it away. Gibbs White, the scorer of the Nottingham Forest goal. And when he scored that goal, it looked like that maybe the tide might turn in Nottingham Forest's favour. It certainly hasn't.
Yeah, as I say, I wouldn't say they had momentum. The goal sort of come from very little build-up of momentum for Forest, but they had a chance, but with Victor's sort of rush of blood, that has killed any of that, I think.
Well, he has certainly put his team into a serious situation now. They trail by 3-1. It'll be fascinating to hear what Sean Dyche says after the conclusion of this game. He'll be live on Talksport. We're going to do it live down in the tunnel today with Sean Dyche straight after the game. Here is Amari Hutchinson defending in the left full-back area. Gets it back towards Murillo, and then they almost conspire to give the ball away, Nottingham Forest, inside their own half. It's been a pretty poor performance all round, really. Bad day at the office, I think. 28% possession. They've hardly had any touches in the opponent's penalty area. And they've managed 3 shots on target in the second half. Just one in the first half. But they haven't caused Aston Villa enough grief to put them under serious pressure apart from the goal. They have a free kick on this near side, and they take it short again, Aston Villa, as they seemingly always do. McGinn down the right, a little bit of confusion between who was going to get hold of that, but Rodgers has sent it in towards the near post anyway. It's cleared away by Murillo. Back to Tielemans, edge of the area. Now McGinn, right side. Into Rodgers. McGinn, Rodgers, McGinn, Rodgers, McGinn. A bit of olays going around the ground because Villa know that they're in control here, just keeping possession inside the Nottingham Forest half of the field. No need to rush anything, no need to force anything. Nottingham Forest to really expected, I think, to go on a bit of a charge because there was an immediate uplift after Sean Dyche was appointed in October. He won 7 of his first 12 games in charge, but they've suffered a little dip since beating Spurs. It's going to be 4 defeats in a row. Here's Watkins, edge of the area, dispossessed by Morgan Gibbs-White. Ball breaks towards the near side. Jesus tries to keep it alive. Again, Aston Villa just sharper and faster to the ball. They turn it over once again. That's happened a lot today. Here is Tielemans moving forward, up to the edge of the box. Kamara in support. Out wide is Rodgers. Now into the area down the right side. Tries to take on Williams, who's on the back foot. Gets to the byline, produces a cross. He just doesn't get hold of it, and it clips up into the arms of Matt Sells, who runs into Ollie Watkins, dives on the floor, wants a free kick.
I can't believe what I've just seen there, but Sells, I don't know whether he was a little bit chilly on the bench. It took him so long to get on that he needed a bit of bodily contact, so dived into somebody.
Yes. I mean, they haven't got heated seats down there, have they? Like because we had to have one specially put in for Reshman today.
Yeah, we could have loaned Resh out, couldn't we?
Could.
And her heaters.
And her heaters, several heaters. She's like a B&Q when we walked in earlier on, hawking around heaters. Here is McAtee playing a ball down the inside right channel. Goes out of play and away for a goal kick away to our left. And 2 changes now for Aston Villa. And Bogard is coming on, so is Doniel Marlon. And Ollie Watkins and John McGinn, the goal scorers, are coming off.
Number 11, Ollie Watkins. Please welcome number 17.
Well, Watkins will be pleased that he's got his name on the score sheet today. And I've got to say, that man, John McGinn, I think he's been magnificent. He's a man for all seasons. He's got talent in his feet and he's got fire in his belly. A really great combination for any professional footballer.
Great team player, isn't he?
Yep, he certainly is. He does the work for the team. He'll fight his corner, challenges wise, but he's also got the ability to find a pass or find a finish, which he's shown today. Super performance by him.
And this is really interesting because Arno Kalimuendo, who cost 25 million quid from Rennes, who seems to be going to Frankfurt in the next 24 hours, he's got a loan move with an option to buy, has come off the bench for Nottingham Forest, which I'm sure is going to be his last appearance. And Dominguez has come off as well to be replaced by Douglas Luiz, who's pretty popular around here after his performances for Aston Villa. He's back on the Villa Park turf where he feels very comfortable, I think. Here is Williams. I think it's been difficult for Nottingham Forest because they started with Nuno Espirito Santo. I mean, obviously it's all of their own making that they then decided to go down the Postecoglou route and change the style of play or attempt to. I think the I've had to bring in Sean Dyche, so it's 3 different managers, 3 different voices. They spent 180 million quid again in the summer and brought in a load of new players. It's very difficult to get a settled team and a settled squad when you've got all of those players and all those different voices asking you to do different things. So it is going to take time for Sean Dyche and his coaching staff just to settle things down. But it hasn't been a very impressive performance today, has it? And the first time, I think, that we've looked at them and thought, hold on a second, fellas, you might be in trouble unless you get a grip here.
Yeah, that's fair to say. First half performance especially wasn't up to standard.
Tielemans cutting in field. He's got space out wide for Jadon Sancho. Sancho into the box now, trying to take on Williams. Williams goes across. It's still Jadon Sancho on the edge of the area, keeping hold of the ball, teasing Williams, trying to invite the foul. He pokes it round the corner for Cash. He joins the attack now as they approach the edge of the penalty area. Kamara coming forward for Aston Villa, who lead by 3-1. Into Sancho again, trying to poke the ball down the right side. He was a little bit ambitious there with that pass. It was straight at Williams, who manages to backheel the ball into the path of Hutchinson. And the ball, I think, had already gone out for a throw-in on this near side, and it's going to be an Aston Villa ball.
Yeah, another very good challenge there by Kamara. Another good performer, I think, in a Villa shirt today.
Well, it's currently Aston Villa 3, Nottingham Forest 1. The latest odds are available from Betfair, the official partner of Talksport's Premier League coverage, where right now you can get Morgan Rogers to score at any time at 14-1, Sancho to score or assist at 14-1, Elliot Anderson to get booked at 11-1. What about my mate Milenkovic? What's he to be booked now? And that's all thanks to Betfair. Played in a different league this season with Safe Sub from Betfair, 18+, begambleaware.org. If he lets me down for a second week in a row, we're finished, me and him.
Yeah, don't blame you. Yeah. Everything else is in place, is it, apart from that at the moment?
Everything, apart from him getting booked. Outrageous.
And that was your banker, wasn't it?
Here is Emi Martinez away to our left. In it goes to Kamara. Kamara, who runs off the back of Douglas Luiz. Feeds it out to Tielemans. I just wonder how helpful this is going to be for Aston Villa, bearing in mind that, you know, they've got a couple of big games coming up, Palace away and then Everton at home before they go to Fenerbahce in the Europa League. They've also got a trip to Tottenham in the FA Cup in between time. But like bouncing back after you lose like you did on Wednesday night, to come back here and win in this manner, I think it's important for them. Here is Marlon trying to get down the inside right channel, looks to try and outpower Murillo, couldn't get in front of him. Sells comes across and gathers the ball up.
See, when you look at Villa over their last 12 Premier League games, they probably, all they've done is a couple of mistakes wrong in one game in the second half against Arsenal. Apart from that, they've been almost faultless
against a very good team. Yeah,
exactly that. So let's not be too critical about how they're
doing. Absolutely not. They've done brilliantly. They're up there chasing for a Champions League place, and I think today's crucial actually because it could set them up for a really good end to the season. With Chelsea playing Manchester City this weekend, I mean, either way, whatever way that result goes, it's beneficial for Aston Villa. And the fact that they lost in such a thumping fashion away at the Emirates on Tuesday night did them very little damage because City dropped points and Chelsea dropped points.
Yeah, exactly. In the scheme of things, it didn't. And to spring back like this with, I mean, if the game finishes any time now on the same scoreline, it's been a pretty comfortable performance, or either the run of play or the scoreline.
Well, Unai Emery is pretty popular around here. He's got the keys to the city. School of thought is that he relishes working with a team just outside the elite, like a Sevilla, a Villarreal, or an Aston Villa. He's lifted the club from relegation candidates when he took over in the autumn of 2022 to qualifying for European competition in 3 successive seasons now. And he wants to get back in to that top 4-5 and play Champions League football again. For Forest, it's about staying in the Premier League, and they've got a big away game at West Ham on Tuesday, live on Talksport, which is going to be crucial to their future. McAtee with a very strong challenge on Lamar Bogard, and he gets a yellow card.
I'll tell you what, when we have a look at that again, that foot was pretty high.
Oof, oh dear.
I'll tell you what.
VAR are going to have a look at this, mate.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know whether there was self-preservation in that tackle or a nasty one. yet to make my mind up. I don't think they'll get involved. State of the game and the timing of the game now.
No, they're going to make a change, and Cash is going to come off, and Garcia coming on. Late change for Aston Villa.
Please welcome.
He's played well again today, hasn't he, Matt Cash?
Yeah, as I say, Villa are a better team with him in the ranks, that is for sure.
And that VAR check is now over, and there is no extra punishment for James McAtee. 7 minutes of added time to be thrust on to the end of this game as Tielemans plays it short into Rodgers, then back to Tielemans again, dead centre of the Nottingham Forest half. Out wide on the right hand side, the ball is with Jadon Sancho. Sancho down the outside of the penalty area, produces a deep cross towards the far post. There's a bit of wrestling going on between Milenkovic and Marlon. The referee has given a goal kick. A few in the whole end felt that was over physical from the Serb.
Yeah, good ball in the air. I think both players are hanging on to each other, to be honest. We're looking at the replay of that.
I'll tell you what, there was a bit of contact from Milenkovic from the minute he got into the penalty area. Daniel Marlon.
7 minutes.
Be a minimum of 7 minutes added time. A minimum of 7 minutes added time.
Aston Villa starting 2026 with a huge victory. And actually, I say it's a huge victory. It feels a lot more comprehensive than even the scoreline suggests. If this had been 5-1, I think it probably would have been fairer reflection, wouldn't it?
Yeah, on the run of play, that would be fair to say. Even Forest goal sort of come from nowhere. And say 7 minutes. And I've got to say 9 of those 7 minutes were for Victor going down.
Crikey. Has he got up yet? Here is Digne down the left-hand side. I mean, listen, everybody makes mistakes. That was a massive one, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the context of the game, well, at that stage, they started up the Forest team bus and thought, there's nothing here for us today, without a doubt.
Yes, it is over now. After they go to West Ham, by the way, it's followed by a trip to Wrexham Friday night in the Cup Live on Talksport. Then they welcome Arsenal on the 17th of January before the City Ground welcomes the return of the Europa League. It's not the easiest of periods for Sean Dyche and the Nottingham Forest support.
No, but all of that all just dictate what that result is come Tuesday night against West Ham, won't it? It's
a cup final.
It's everything.
Really?
It's everything. It really is, and depending, they might have a slight slant on that, depending on the result that West Ham and Wolves come up with. But either way, that's going to be an enormous game.
All those Nottingham Forest fans that are going down the exits now and trying to get an early march away from Villa Park will be old gold fans for the rest of the afternoon, I think.
Yeah, you're correct there.
Goal kick away to our left, which Emi Martinez will pummel upfield. We've played 2 of the 7 added minutes. The ball is thrust forward by Tielemans on halfway. He nudges it back towards Rodgers, but it breaks off of Douglas Luiz and comes out towards this near side, where it's collected by Anderson. Anderson towards Williams. Williams elevates it high, up towards the edge of the area, taken down by Calamuendo. Has strayed into an offside position. It's going to be a free kick on the edge of the box. Be interesting to see what Unai Emery says after the game, and Sean Dyche's version of events as well. We'd like to hear those, and you'll be able to catch them straight after the match, live into Game Day Live with Adrian Durham. And remember, tomorrow we've got another bonus commentary for you. We're on air at 11 o'clock. Adrian and I will be at Elland Road for Leeds against Manchester United. Brucey's coming with us. And Aaron Lennon as well. So we're looking forward to that.
Good game.
That's tomorrow, 12:30. We're underway.
It's a big game in the Yorkshire Diary, that is for sure.
Yes, indeed. And they've been playing really well, actually, Leeds United. I thought they were very, very good against Liverpool defensively in midweek. Here is Bogard, who's been fouled again, this time by Douglas Luiz. And it's a free kick on the edge of the... We're playing out time, really, now. This game is limping towards its conclusion because everybody knows the result. I think Nottingham Forest will spark a bit of an inquest after what has been a very unimpressive and underwhelming performance from Sean Dyche's men over the course of the piece. They've had similar sort of amounts on target as Aston Villa, but the dominance in the game has been one-way traffic. 75% possession. And there's a yellow card here. Yeah, that was that for Bogard, getting a little bit of revenge there on a couple of tackles that have come in on him, going through Morgan Gibbs-White, and he's picked up a yellow.
Yeah, just arrived a little late there as Gibbs-White moved the ball on.
45 touches in the opponent's penalty area for Aston Villa, 9 for Nottingham Forest. That's not enough.
That's an incredible amount of touches, isn't it?
Yeah.
Statistically, for any team in the Premier League, really.
Here is Douglas Luiz drifting the ball towards the far post, away by Lindelof, further cleared by Tielemans. Although I think Nottingham Forest had 45 touches in the Everton penalty area on Tuesday night and come away with nothing themselves.
Yeah.
Murillo, who looks absolutely stacked, by the way, charges forward, tries to cause some disruption, and then bounds into Boubacar Kamara and gives away a free kick on the edge of the Aston Villa box. It's 95 minutes now on the clock, 2 more to play, and Aston Villa just trying to get over the line here, really. They're not really interested in going forward now. It's just about seeing out the result, a result that will take them into second temporarily.
Yeah, this is when you like to kick off early, when you've got a result under your belt, and you just sit and look at the other results coming in.
Well, it means Manchester City will be forced into beating or getting a point out of at least Chelsea on Sunday, because at the moment Villa going up to 42 points and nestling 3 behind the leaders, Arsenal. Manchester City 41 points from their 19 games. They play 5:30 on Sunday. We'll keep you in touch with that on Game Day Live. Ian Danter in the chair on Sunday afternoon. There's a couple of games on Sunday afternoons, crucial ones, and then we've got all 10 live on the Talksport network next week. Here is Williams, the Welshman, on the left-hand side, feeding the ball into Gibbs-White. Bit of space for him, edge of the D. Tries to play it out wide to Savona. Savona moving towards the edge of the box, produces a crossing towards the near post, which is flicked away by Lindelof. Gibbs-White keeps it alive. McAtee was there, but it's away by Konza, taken out of the sky by Murillo. And he skips away from one challenge and then almost gives the ball away again. And then Matt Sells is encouraged to push it forward, and he slips as he does so. It's getting a little bit comical now. And here's Colin Moendo going down the right side, trying to get a shot on target, does that into the arms of Emi Martinez. It's going to be a 5th defeat in 6 for Sean Dyche and Nottingham Forest. Villa about to stretch their winning home run to 11 on the spin. Only 19 goals this season for Nottingham Forest. I would suggest that that's going to be a big problem unless they sort that out. Here is Garcia, and there is the full-time whistle. And Aston Villa bounce back from being outgunned in North London with an 11th straight home win at Villa Park. It's their best run here for 36 years. No wonder Unai Emery is so popular in these parts. John McGinn with 2 goals in the second half, which put a cap on an afternoon where Forest offered very, very little. A very timid display by Sean Dyche's team. Aston Villa coming away with a deserved 3 points. It means Villa for now are up to second. They go back within 3 points of Arsenal at the top. They might not be title contenders, but they are determined not to be too far away. Aston Villa 3, Nottingham Forest 1.
And there you can hear the ringing around Villa Park, and why not? What a way to start this first home game of the new year here at Villa Park. It is a huge victory for them. And as Sam rightly said, they bounced back from that defeat against Arsenal. Turns out it was a blip after all. And that run that they're on here at home, for the 11 home wins now, the first time they've done that in 36 years. In fact, the last time they did that, they did finish second in the table, and they are currently second in the table right now. They've leapfrogged Manchester City just for now to be second in the Premier League table. It is looking very, very bright for Aston Villa on this bright, sunny January afternoon here. Really, really good victory for them. But of course, for Nottingham Forest, it's a very different story. They've lost 5 of their last 6 games in the Premier League now. They've lost 6 of their last 10 away from home as well, and it means that there are no points on the board for Sean Dyche's side. They started the game with just 4 points between them and the relegation zone, and with 2 of their relegation rivals now meeting in the 3 o'clock kickoffs. West Ham away at Molineux. It is a real opportunity for West Ham to close the gap and draw Nottingham Forest right into that relegation scrap. It's not a great situation for them, but let's talk about Aston Villa first, Stuart Pearce. A really commanding victory, wasn't it? And really, I mean, apart from the one goal that Nottingham Forest did score against the run of play, they absolutely deserved that in terms of the talent on the pitch, in terms of the possession, and in terms of the work rate as well. Yeah, I think it was almost the ideal performance. A performance that was handed to them, I think, too early, too soon, too subservient by Forest early on. Saying that, we were on 44 minutes and it was 0-0, and Forest would have probably, and Dyche would have probably been thinking, get a minute half time, 0-0, something to build on second half. But Watkins broke the deadlock, and from that moment on, you never felt as though the result was going any other way. And in all honesty, in the first 10 minutes, I thought the result was only ever going one way. Yeah. You know, I thought they'd win 3-0. It ended up being 3-1. I was going to say, you called it a 3-0, didn't you? But they did get that one goal. Ollie Watkins, he now has 6 goals since the start of December. I mean, for someone who just really struggled at the start of this season, that's a real turnaround in form. But you've got to give it to John McGinn as well. What an instrumental player he is. He's a man for all seasons for me, McGinn. Every time I come and watch him, I never see him play badly. His bottom level is a work rate for the team and a level of aggression for the team. That's his starting point. And on top of that, he couples that with talent in his feet as well. And he's just brilliant to have around the place. He inspires his enthusiasm with the rest of the players in his actions. It made a difference, didn't it, having certain players back? Kamara, Matty Cash particularly made a real contribution in this game as well. Yeah, both for those two that you mentioned there, Kamara and Cash, I thought were really good. Got plenty of the ball, Cashy, because of Forrest sitting back nice and deep. And Kamara as well, especially in his second half, either his challenges or his eye for a pass and his skill. You know, both of them really impressed me again. Do you see Villa as challengers then for the title? I say it week after week, no. I don't think the squad's deep enough, and we saw that at Arsenal when Onana come off and it wasn't deep enough to get a result against the likes of Arsenal that are flying at the moment. But they're going to have a big say, and I think with the manager they got in place, he won't allow this squad to take their foot off the gas. Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because despite the defeat to Arsenal, he just won't let the levels drop. But again, as you said, Nottingham Forest did make it easy for them. I know it probably hurts to watch your former side sort of going through this period at the moment. What are Sean Dyche's biggest challenges right now? What if he goes back and says, right, this is what I've got to fix right now, this is my top priority? What would you say 1, 2 and 3 are his top priorities right now? Well, getting goals. Goals equate to points. That's number one. So where do you get your goals from? Where do you get your goals from? We go on to number 2. Where's the balance between being a little bit more open to try and get those goals and keeping the ball out the back of your net? That, you know, that's 1 and 2. But that's for every team in the division, really. Yeah. But they've scored. There's only, I think, Wolverhampton that have scored less goals than them, and that tells you absolutely everything. But you've almost got to take it game by game now, and you've got head-to-heads between now and the end of the season against teams like Bournemouth, maybe Fulham, and West Ham coming on Tuesday night, which is absolutely enormous for both football clubs. Yeah, it really is. And of course, there's a huge game coming up at 3 o'clock as well, because Wolves are taking on West Ham, and West Ham do have a chance now to close the gap. And if you're Sean Dyche, look, he's been in these positions before, and you talk about the players that aren't scoring, who really should be scoring. You're looking at Igor Jesus, you're looking at Morgan Gibbs-White, whose output has been nowhere near what it was last season, and Chris Wood's obviously is on the bench, so he doesn't count. But he's now got to motivate this side, who are being pulled right into exactly where they don't want to be, exactly where they thought they might be able to recover from, actually, with the introduction of Sean Dyche. They're sort of going backwards, aren't they now? How as a manager, do you now motivate this group of players to just keep their heads up and try to be less subservient as they were on the pitch and actually go for it and show what they can actually do? Because we saw it last season.
Yeah, the one thing I would say, in Daichi, they've got a very rounded, a very experienced manager that's managed, a lot of groups of players, and he's lifted a lot of players. They'll be looking at him now, the players, and they'll be thinking to themselves, when their egos and their confidence has been rocked, and he's such a big character, Daichi, in and around the dressing room, they'll need his guidance and his strength and his moral strength now. And you get it by one result. Honestly, you do. Yeah. Tuesday night, if they get a result, then all of a sudden you're pulling away from the teams that are below you, and it galvanises confidence. It's amazing how one result can knock you that way, or one result can lift you that way.
Yeah, exactly, and that's how it's looking at the moment. It's a little I wouldn't say perilous, but it's looking dangerous for Nottingham Forest right now. But as you can say, it can turn in an instant. Let's pick our man of the match now, shall we? After this victory for Aston Villa, it finished 3-1 to Villa, and we're going to pick our man of the match with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.
The Here for It hero on Talksport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Whatever it is, we're here for it.
Go on, Stu. Who have you gone for?
Can only be Super John McGinn.
Yeah, I thought it would be.
You've got to fall in love with him. As someone who's managed before, you look at him and you think, I would like to have worked with you.
He's just he's got absolutely everything. As you say, his baseline is just hard work, digging in, and he's got end product as well. And when you've got that.
And he added goals to that with his performance as well today.
Yeah, absolutely. That was, I think that's very well deserved for John McGinn. That was our Here for It hero man of the match from today's game with Enterprise Rent-A-Car.